As I look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then storming weather's go too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you is not what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done by the time it hit you, you're not surprised.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the Galtopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. No tagline. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't necessarily know why we're here today. I mean, I know why you guys are here. You guys are here to listen to a broadcast while you're doing your things of the day, going to work, maybe at work, driving home, doing some shopping, putting the kids to sleep, whatever the case may be. But I mean, why is it that Phil has chosen to pick this fight yet again? It's almost like the first 3 rounds weren't enough, so he had to come out of his corner for a 4th. Did Swagans not tell him, you know, his cut man, hey, no more, you're done, buddy. You don't have any more fight left in you. We should have worked on your cardio more. I don't know. It seems rather unnecessary. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my overall view of the situation is Phil has gone to the well once too many times. He's trying to milk a situation in the belief leading into the holiday season that he'll drum up a bunch of support, a bunch of sympathy, so on and so forth. And allegedly, at least 2 days ago, he said that his Twitch check still hadn't showed up yet. Now, as we all know, ladies and gentlemen, his Twitch check shows up between the 13th and the 15th. I'm currently recording this on November 14th, 2018. He has his money. But yet again, the piggies don't need to know that. Lie to them. They're all idiots anyway, and get what you can out of them. And if he has to use Tevin as the catalyst, then why not? Sadly, this is going to come back to bite him. But it's not just that, ladies and gentlemen. Phil, when it was announced 2 days ago that Stan Lee had passed away, Phil in his chat over there had made a very distasteful joke. I think I'll let you guys go ahead and make of it what you will as it pertains to that joke, but it was in poor taste. I will say this: one part of that joke was actually Phil had used before. I can't remember if it was Logan Paul or his brother, but one of them had gone parachuting and their main chute didn't deploy. But thank God the emergency one did. And Phil made a rather disgusting joke about, well, wouldn't it have been funny if the second one didn't release either, and he just went ahead and splat. What would YouTube be like if that was the case? Phil's just a piece of shit, quite frankly. To joke about someone's death like that, thinking it's somehow going to help you in your dead YouTube career, makes no sense whatsoever. But in any case, I have 3 clips for you. One from Memology, another one from a individual on Twitter and Memology, and a third one from Mighty D. Let me actually go ahead and read this out to you. I will have the links to all 3 videos respectfully in the description so you can watch them in their entirety. So first one is by Mighty D, or sorry, by Memology. You actually see that on screen. Sorry about that. DSP goes ballistic at the mere mention of Tevin, or Almighty Tevin. Praise be. Second video by Mighty D. Happy clown stream turns into furious Tevin rant. That's number 2. And number 3, DSP Master of Comedy, which is also by Memology and an individual on Twitter. I do not have the name in front of me. My apologies. And then we'll get into the broadcast at hand. So I will go ahead and play the clips for you in their entirety, and then we'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll get into the broadcast at hand. Sound good? Sounds good. All right, here we go.
I've trioed, and people have told me they've tried and they ignore it. I've trioed, and people have told me they've tried and they ignore it because they can never catch it live because he doesn't leave the streams public, so there's no evidence of him doing it, and YouTube takes like days to respond to a report. So by the time that they actually look into the report, there's no evidence of any wrongdoing.
Get up.
I wanna get up, yo, get up, get up, get up, wanna get up, get up, get up. Oh, fuck! Dude, it landed face first. In the wall, like the bush. He's like, boom, I should like a red splot. Ouch. Fuck you, I'm fucking the fire pit. Hold on. I gotta get the nice and toasty. Nice toasty feet. Bulletproof says we should protect Betty White. Third out of the third says, do you like to land face first in bushes? Depends. It depends on if it's... I'm not gonna say that. There's only one bush I would land in currently, that's for sure. There's only one bush I would land in. Because I'm a faithful guy, let's put it that way. I grab other items. Oh, shoot the bugs. La 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 la. What is this?
Eliminate.
There you go. Oh, fucking shit! Ah! What happened? Where'd he come from? I was doing some dubstep. Oh. What the fuck? Wow. Cilantro is very fucking tasty on nachos. Not just tasty, fucking tasty. I said the fucking for emphasis.
All I want for Christmas is you. In my belly!
The night Santa went crazy. The night Saint Nick went insane. Must have thought he was getting the raw deal. Something finally must have snapped in his brain. 'Cause the National Guard and the FBI. And there's helicopters circling around in the sky. And the body counts rising. Okay, I'm gonna stop singing it now.
Oh, I'm well aware there's a lot of weird stalkers on my Twitter, Vikuno, but they're all blocked, so I don't see them. I blocked those people ages ago. So I don't see any of the dumb shit they say.
Faith plus one, that's what they were called. That's right. Faith plus one. That's right. For Fistel, she said, my name is Sheikh Zula, the mock ruler, the old schooler. You want a trip? I'll bring it to ya. Right, rockin', I cold top blocking like a working out now. Meet one, get the money, see? Meet one, get the honeys, G. Driving in my car, looking like a star. I see fingers in my toes and I'm a toss. Yo, check it. Yo, 'cause we are the Aqua Teens. Make the homies wanna holler and the girls wanna scream.
Blackout.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force, #1 in the hood, G. Yeah.
What the shit I dropped? Oops! Damn, I took mad early.
Your boy Jermaine says, so just so you know who are watching on YouTube today, Stan Lee passed away. Very sad day. But your boy Jermaine just said, it'll be fun when people start asking, how did he die? Oh, his shoot didn't work. Oh, he got trampled at a Metallica concert. Yeah, Stan Lee was doing these crazy things.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so first clip was basically Phil getting caught up in the admitting that he's tried to flag Almighty Tevin. We all knew this though, so that's not something that's completely outside of the realm. Second clip was Phil at the beginning of his Black Ops 4 Blackout stream. It was held a couple nights ago. Second stream. And he was in a relatively good mood. He seemed rather joyful, if nothing else. I would suspect that he may have had a drink or two, just to give himself a nice buzz going into it. But that's just my thoughts. I couldn't tell you for sure. But the $1 cheer that mentioned Tevin completely killed that. And Our third one is the Stan Lee situation, which is what Phil is currently fighting now. It's amazing how he can pick all these fights on all these different fronts, and he expects to win. I don't get it. Now, in any case, as it pertains to the Stan Lee situation, make of that what you will. The second part, with him being in such a good mood, like I said, he might have had a drink at him. I don't know, maybe it's that night of the week where, you know, him and Kat actually get a chance to roll around a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. There's something that certainly tickled his fancy. And the first one was just Phil, yet again, getting caught slipping. He talks too goddamn much. In any case, we're going to go ahead and get into the broadcast at hand. I have 3 videos from you. Here we go. First video by Snort Burnell, one of our favorites. Dspgaming, more than 1,800 milligrams of salt, and another rant against Tevin and Good Samaritans. Second video by Mr. Huffstuffs, DarkSydePhil, Tevin and the Trolls. Third video by Snort Burnell, Dspgaming, needs money. First off, let's talk about the third one. Needs money. Isn't this the same guy who said on that same Tevin rant stream that, Tevin has way more views than I do, but I'm the one who makes way more money? And then the next night, you had to go off and beg for money. And actually, he's done it every night since. Yeesh. Aren't we rather pathetic? So, that's going to be funny to laugh at. Let's see here. Second, and then the first and second are all about Tevin. I don't know why Phil picked this fight. I don't know why he picked it now. He could have spaced this out. He could have waited till Thanksgiving or some shit. Wait until, I don't know, a holiday Axe the King or whatever the case may be. Don't do this now. You know what I mean? Actually, don't do it, period. You're not getting anywhere with this. It's fucking hilarious. Now, I will say this. I'm not sure if you guys are keeping up with what's going on with Jim or Mr. Medicare and that whole Sargon situation, but that's kind of what this sounds like. It sounds like Phil has been watching some of what's been going on with that whole skeptic community type shit, and is like, oh, well, I'll just go ahead and turn it against Tevin because he's the #1 guy, especially since Tevin has recently overtaken the SOK channel in subs, if that means anything to anybody. It would make it, maybe that's why Phil's deciding to target him. Who could say? And at the end, he's going to lose. At the end of the day, if Tevin for any reason went down, everybody's going to go ahead and blame Phil, and then everybody's just going to go after him. It is what it is. That's not dog whistling. That's just how it's going to go. You know what I mean? And the fact that people are starting to build up, because it's been recommended to us, it's been recommended to a bunch of people about, hey, go to Mixer. Hey, go to Stream Me. There's a bunch of different options outside of Twitch and YouTube. That then what, Phil? He's just you're gonna let him go to 2 other platforms where he can literally do whatever the fuck he want, and you can never stop it, and he still beats your viewership out? Which is another little thing that Phil has been talking about, where if Tevin wasn't around, well, first off, all those viewers that Tevin gets, those are my viewers. That's my viewership. So if Tevin wasn't around, they would come over here to watch me. But I wouldn't want them here anyway, because all they want to do is stay over there and listen to the toxic bullshit. But that's still my viewership. It sounds like, in a lot of ways, he was almost pleading for Tevin's audience to come over there and watch him. Watch my dumb shit in real time. Don't watch it through, I guess you could call Tevin a filter. A very entertaining one. But maybe that's how he was looking at it. Couldn't tell you. But either which way, that's pretty sad. It's pretty sad that that's how far the desperation has gone. And then, yet again, to top that off, to go from, I make way more money than him one day, and then the next day, and the day after, beg for money. Saying that I'm broke. I'm broke. After you just said a night or 2 ago that you make way more money than Tevin does. Wow. I gotta tell you, Phil, you're punching yourself out already. You're just making this way too easy. In any case, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into the broadcast at hand. Hope you guys' day or evening or afternoon is going well, and we hope to only add to your day. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dspnews. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG network and productions. You guys all know the slogan. It's time to watch me work.
is how I play the game. Oh my god! What the fuck?
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude. And I have to warn everyone. Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. I like how you're laughing too.
Well, it's funny.
Dragon Quest 11.
I would really be interested in finding out why does all his playthroughs getting blocked lately. I really would like to know, because it's starting to become almost normal, which maybe that's not necessarily a good thing. I don't know. It's all amusing, yeah, nonetheless. But I really would like to know why that keeps happening to him. I wonder who it was that he pissed off at YouTube finally to where they're starting to take action against them. I'm sure we might find out sooner than later. Dspnews.
Now, I have an update regarding the playthrough. The first piece of good news, okay, is that I finally got around all the bullshit copyright issues on YouTube. I was unable to upload the story conclusion of this game the other day because Square Enix claimed the video, well, not didn't claim, excuse me, they struck the video, blocking it for copyright reasons. So no one could actually see the end of my run through the main story of the game because it was blocked, okay? I had to edit this video 3 times last night.
Wow.
To cut out enough so that the stupid thing that they had put into YouTube wouldn't catch the freaking video. But it is finally live as of now.
Lol.
And once Thanksgiving hits, I will start decorating for Christmas. We will have a month of Christmas decorations.
Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. So, for someone who's been doing this for as long as he has, right? And no one said that he's a great editor. He's not. Obviously, he's fucking horrible. I can say that because I'm fucking horrible. But in any case, it took you 3 times to clip out enough so you can get past the system. Now, if you guys have ever seen a Phil edit, it's really just a chop. It's really a chop job. It's a hack, to say the very least. So I doubt that playthrough is worth a damn. It's almost like you probably should have just given up on that video altogether. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to, in your hardest, to chase after those shekels. And, more importantly, I haven't looked personally, so if anybody has, they can leave it in the comment section. How many ads does he have on that video? Because since he had to cut out so much, I would assume he doubled up on how many ads he put on there. Or, let's reword that, he put the maximum amount of ads that he could on that video. Question is how many? So sad. So sad. But what happened, Phil, to the days of... editing is easy. It's the live, abridged commentary is the hard part. I don't know, Phil. It doesn't... It's not looking that way currently. Desperate to get that money. Jesus Christ. I hope that staycation was worth it, Phil. That's all I have to say. Dspnews.
The streams. Some people have asked, will there be a Christmas mascot? The answer is yes. I have found my Christmas mascot. There will be a Christmas mascot here on the streams. Most probably a potion for the Halloween. We're going to have somebody new for Christmas. Okay?
Well, so, number one, some people have asked me, am I going to formally review Red Dead Redemption 2? No. No. Laziness.
I didn't have to, yesterday, I had to switch over to another game during the stream. I don't do formal reviews anymore. I don't know how people still don't understand this. I haven't done a formal review since earlier this year. I have no plans on doing a formal review of Red Dead. I just don't. That era has passed. I'm a live streamer, guys.
I may be living month to month, paycheck to paycheck, begging for fucking tips and shit on stream for the rest of my life.
I think
all right, let me step in for a minute. So he doesn't want to do reviews. We all know this, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? They were shit anyway. But at the end of the playthrough, he could section out 15 minutes to a half hour to really flush out the game and explain what he feels like. He's doing it right on stream. He's gonna cut that and put it on YouTube anyway. So just do that. All the heavy lifting is right then and there. And I've been saying that since almost the beginning, as it pertains to when he was talking about giving up on reviews. But in truth, do you guys really care? Does anybody really care about what his reviews are? Except for literally the 5 whole people, you know what I mean, who asked for it? Other than that, no one gives a shit. He hates all games. I don't know why it's so hard for his fan base to figure that out, but that's what the truth is. He hates all games. He doesn't give a shit about any of them. So fuck it. It's not worth it, to be honest with you, to be bitching and complaining about this stuff. But that's neither here nor there. Let's continue.
Need to realize that I'm a live streamer, not a YouTuber / game reviewer anymore. If you want to know my thoughts on Red Dead 2, I gave them many times during the course of the playthrough. I gave it during the credits. I even tweeted about it. Yet people are still like, where's your review? I'm like, are you fucking blind?
He's toxic. Every fucking day he's toxic. Every day he's here, he's toxic.
I've given you my opinion on the game a million times. So, no, I'm not doing a formal review of Red Dead 2. If you really want to know ultimately how I think it stacks up against the other games of the year, watch my Game of the Year awards later this year. And then you'll get your answer because I'm going to rate my top 10 games, okay? In particular, today's a special day for me because I get to play a JRPG that normally other content creators usually wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. Name another content creator who does this for a living who would play Dragon Quest for 60 hours. Maybe you'd name 5 of them, you know, if that. I love Dragon Quest. I love turn-based RPGs. I love...
Name a Let's Player who needs 60 hours to play it. Let's talk about that. Like, let's be reasonable. Okay? Like, that's absolutely ridiculous that you needed 60 hours to play that game. I don't even know how many hours it took to actually beat it, but I doubt it took 60. You know what I mean? I doubt it took 60. So, let's answer that. Let's ask that question first. Secondly, it still doesn't help in the long term it still doesn't help in the long term that it took you that long to play the game. More importantly, how much of the game was flushed out. When you go back and watch the videos, or if you've seen them on stream, it's really just him answering cheers. It's him just laying back bullshitting around. It's not worth a damn, to be honest. And that's the funny part, because if you go back to his original streaming rant when he left Twitch the first time, the very things he was talking about, that he was shitting on other Twitch streamers for, he turned into. If anything, he became worse than what he was actually railing off against. It's 60 hours of bullshit. Oh no, let's cut that back. There's probably 20 hours of bullshit in that out of the 60. And the other 40 is just ineptitude gameplay. Period. It just wasn't worth doing. And the only reason why he has 60 hours, and we'll just say, I don't even know if there's really 60, but we'll go off his logic, is because he was just waiting for the next hot release, so he was just stretching that shit out. Which is what's gotten him in all this trouble in the first place. If I remember correctly, I don't think this is a spoiler because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. He's not playing Fallout 76, and I think he said, what other game did he say he wasn't going to play? I think he said he's not playing Battlefield, which might be a good thing either which way. So, he's playing Hitman and Spyro, and then he's trying to finish off, I think he's trying to finish off Assassin's Creed, and then he's playing one more game. It is what it is. But yet, I still hold to the theory about my Fallout, where he's going to wait until Twitch does a sponsored stream, and then he's just going to hop on that. He gets a free copy of the game, and he's going to get paid for it twice, because for whatever reason, Phil can beat the TOS and play a sponsored stream game, and then put it on YouTube and monetize it. Call it what you will. Dspnews.
Classic JRPG style, and I'm having a lot of fun with this game, so thanks for hanging out with me. Poopster just resuffered the 3rd month in a row and said, if you get the new merch, will you model them for us? Yes. I was actually talking about this on my earlier stream. I actually would like to get 2 of the shirts. I want to get the Tis the Season shirt and the Santa shirt.
But I can't really afford it right now. I can't afford to drop like $40 on shirts. Right now.
When I just bought Hitman, I just bought Spyro. Next week I'm probably buying Battlefield. The week after that I am buying Darksiders 3. And the week after that I'm getting Smash. There's no way I can afford to drop $40 on shirts right now. So I guess I'm not going to be able to get them in time. Yeah,
now, let's check this out for a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, let me put myself in the... I'm doing this for y'all. Let me put myself in the hooves. Oh, God, I feel sick to my stomach already. Put myself in the hooves of DarkSydePhil. It's the holiday season, okay? I want you guys to buy my merch, okay? Now, granted, if I was to do merch, it would actually be, quality. It wouldn't be shit. But that's beyond the point. I want you guys to buy my shirts. You're telling me, as a business expense, because Phil is running a business, yeah? Got to spend money to make money, that he can't section off $120, out of, the 10 grand that he's going to be pulling anyway, or 20 grand actually. Well, it's probably a lot lower now that Tut's out the picture. Let's give him anywhere between 12 and 15. You're telling me out of that amount of money, I can't buy a couple of my own shit shirts, so I can have some samples basically for you leading into the holiday season, so I can in turn advertise them and try to get people motivated to buy these shirts. Seeing it on a B-roll is just not enough. And Phil is known to do this periodically throughout the year, where he'll buy a couple of his own shirts. Which is funny because I don't know if this is necessarily true or not, but I know what some shirt makers, shirt companies, they will. If you're someone who's been known to sell a decent amount of shirts, they'll actually send you samples. They have no problem with doing that, especially if it helps push the merchandise. Yet again, you got to spend money to make money. And whether that's on the actual seller's part or on the manufacturer, somebody has to give up the goods, so in turn everybody can get paid. But for Phil, I don't know if Phil never thought about making that deal with Teespring. I'm not sure if Teespring allows them to do that. Maybe he could negotiate that. Like, hey, if I can guarantee, at least 15 shirts being sold, can I have at least a sample of 3 or 4 of them, of my designs, depending on how many designs you have. Like I said, I don't know if Teespring does that, but I do know that there are some shirt manufacturers that do. But in any case, you would think for someone with a business degree, he would be a little bit more savvy about this. And more importantly than that, at least with some of the shirts, they don't look too bad. So you could kind of wear it out to like a shitty Christmas sweater party or some shit like that. No one would really care. But for anybody else, who's going to want to go to school and get the locker treatment for that? It's just not worth it. I'm sorry. You might as well just go ahead and buy it and then sit in front of your computer or your television or whatever when Phil has a stream going. And then you can cheer him on that way. But no one's going to be dumb enough to leave out their house wearing something with DarkSydePhil on it or DSP. People are going to look at you and be like, the fuck is that? And that's just the people who don't know. The ones who do know is going to be like, oh, we know who's going to catch that work later. Let's continue.
It does suck that I can't afford my own shirts, but the thing is, here's the thing, I really don't need shirts. I have a ridiculous amount of t-shirts. As you know, during my earlier streams, I usually wear one of the nice character shirts or gaming shirts, and after I shower, I just throw on like an undershirt, But, in general, I have so many shirts, I have like...
But it's not for you. It's not for you in like your personal use. It was supposed to be you. You're your own personal billboard. That's essentially what the point of it was, Phil. Not because you have a bunch of shirts. Matter of fact, I think Tevin had brought this up the other night. Why doesn't Kat just buy it for you? She's buying him a bunch of graphic tees and shit randomly all the time anyway. So just ask her to buy you a couple. And then you can reimburse her later on down the line or whatever the case may be. Oh, well, then again, ladies and gentlemen, he's the one who's supposed to be bringing in the bacon. So it doesn't look very good if you have to go out to the stables and ask your filly, hey, if you could borrow a couple of bucks. If you could borrow a couple of bucks and whatnot, it probably don't look too good. It's probably going to lessen her morale if she's going to go ahead and win the Kentucky Derby next year. What you going to do? But in any case, it's a shame that, yet again, for someone who makes as much as he does, he can't even put money aside for new shirts. And it's not like he doesn't know when he's going to put the new designs in so he can have them, so he can have them on Teespring. So you would think it'd be smart for you to go ahead and put something aside to make this happen. Whatever. Maybe it's just me. I might be overthinking it.
Drawer overflowing with t-shirts and shit. I really don't need any other t-shirts. It's nice to advertise, but for me to just superfluously waste $40 on something that necessarily I'm not going to get anything out of, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck was that? Dragon Marvel. What? Ratty Bag says, I know what you mean. It would be cool, though, to see if the shirts fit, how they fit and stuff. I agree. When I wear my own shirts on streams, you get to see them in person and see how they look in person. I think that's the reason why a few people actually bought the 10th anniversary shirts, because on Teespring, but you see it on a person, like, oh shit, that's actually kind of...
I wonder, is that Phil basically telling us that the shirts are garbage and that's why he doesn't feel it necessary to buy them? I'm just saying, like, if you're going to have something that's going to have a logo or your name or even the outlining of your face in some way, shape, or form, you would be somewhat proud of it, yeah? if you believed in the artist who went ahead and gave you the designs, yeah? I'm not saying you have to buy all of them, but just a couple of samples couldn't hurt. Just because. I don't know. And if you guys remember going way back to, what was that company that he used to be with? They used to make a bunch of stuff for him. They used to make mugs. He uses those a lot. Mugs, notepads, all kinds of stuff. They made all kinds of crazy shit for him. He used to buy that stuff up like hotcakes whenever he had a new design come in. But as he's gotten older, oh, well, you know, that's when I guess all the designs and everything was good. Not just about the money. It's about how he feels about his brand in general. And I think that's what he's failing to recognize. That it's his brand. And you have to appreciate that and respect that, like your name in general, which we all know Phil doesn't respect for shit. That's a shame. But that's life in Galtopia, ladies and gentlemen. Dspnews.
Cool, right? The Snake tipped me $1. It's funny how Almighty Tevin is streaming your stream and he has 1,000 viewers. It's not funny, it's illegal. It's not funny, it's illegal.
It's also funny that everyone on his stream is a toxic piece of crap. Why am I toxic? More toxic, more toxic. And hilarious that I do this for a living, right? And I make way more money than Tevin, even though I have way less viewers. Let's think about that for a second. All you're getting is salt, 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 salt. It's, oh, even now, again, my mouth overpowered with salt flavor. I need a sip.
Let's really think about that for a second. Think about who's actually has quality followers and who's just a bunch of dumb fuck kids who are just doing illegal shit and trolling and shit, you know. Two completely different kinds of audiences. I will forever love my audience over that kind of audience. Stupid, toxic, immature shit.
Potential collapse detected.
All I can taste.
First things first. One. Yeah, it's basically you have your little piggy cult that's willing to give you as much money as they possibly can at all times to make it look like you're successful, because that's really what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. It's the illusion that these people over there are casting, if you will, or projecting to make him look like he's successful. It's funny that they're working harder at it than he is. That's the first thing. Second thing, Phil, the money doesn't matter. Tevin doesn't do this for money. And if he did want to go ahead and start doing it for money, because you can donate to Tevin, he can kill it at any given time. It's no problem. But yet again, as I've said in previous broadcasts, Phil, he's not trying. You need this. Like you said, you're doing this for a living. You need this. He doesn't. So it's funny how the guy who doesn't need this, who does this just to pass the time, essentially, can go in there, get more views, and bring in money that he's not expecting, and yet still be very, very, very appreciative of it. When your dumbass does this for a living, you got a horse in the stable that is about to go ahead and buck because she realizes that things aren't going to work out. If she hasn't realized it yet, she will eventually, hopefully. And you're reduced to, sadly, selling your soul day in, day out for money. So let's talk about your legacy for a minute, because I have a video coming out on that. This 10-year legacy of yours. You know what I'm saying? Being the most prolific individual on YouTube, so on and so forth. But look at what you've been reduced to in your twilight years, if you will. On the year that you're supposed to be celebrating a decade of overcoming, right? Of overcoming the haters, the adversity, the people who don't like you, the system that's been plotting against you, and so on and so forth. You've been reduced to begging all year. Begging to the point that I'm trying to make, that proves right now as at the time I'm recording this, you're begging for money. You're saying that you're broke and that you need people's help desperately. And we're only at the 14th of November. I'm sorry. What's going to happen when we get into the beginning of December, when the heat is really on? But yet you want to talk about someone who's stealing views from you. It's transformative. He takes your shit and makes it palatable for everybody else. He takes your dried out clay, right? And even though he doesn't need to put any effort into it, he puts something onto it to make it presentable, more than you ever could. So let's go ahead and go back to your original point, Phil. You do this for a living and you make way more money, but you got less viewership, which means that you're already failing at the fundamentals of what you're supposed to be doing, because not only can you not draw the audience, you can barely keep it. Well, Tevin himself is not trying to draw the audience, and yet has it, and if he wanted to go ahead and put some effort into it and bring some money in, he could. He chooses not to. You do this because you have to do it. You do this because you got no motherfucking choice but to do this. He doesn't have to. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing, Phil? So, what are you going to do about it? Let's talk about that, Phil. Let's, one more time. So, he has the audience. You have the money. I would equate that you need to bring in more of the audience so you can make more of the money. But you don't know how. You're incapable of doing that. You're incompetent. You're impotent. So how exactly are you going to go ahead and rise to the occasion in more ways than one? We can talk to Jim about that later. And make this situation happen. I don't think you can. Hence the reason why you're railing off on Tevin for the 4th time. Which helps what? Which helps who? Oh my. Well, let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. We still got a long way to go. Dspnews.
The saltiness.
Poopster says, I hate when people don't want to help build a community, but instead destroy what other people have built. That's correct. And it's funny, because again, there's so many people who all they do is bring down others, yet they wouldn't exist if those others weren't successful in the fucking first place. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
Like, I have 1,000 people on my stream making fun of someone. Yeah, but if that person wasn't successful, you wouldn't exist. You're a professional ass, basically. All you do is talk shit about people. How is that any fucking value? And why do you think you have so many immature fucking people on your stream constantly? And you could never hold an intelligent fucking conversation if you wanted to, because the collective IQ in there is probably about -77. You know, it's like a vacuum of fucking stupidity.
I would never want to do that. I want to be someone creative who creates something positive and fun. I don't want to be.
And what have you done that's creative or fun? And when we talk about the whole collective IQ of an individual's fan base, didn't you have a couple of individuals that went AWOL, went ahead and started shit with a website and got all you guys doxxed? And it's funny because when you had your website doxxed, and I say that when you had your website doxxed, Phil, I mean it, because you could have stopped all this. You were warned and you chose not to. And then lied about it multiple times, saying you had nothing to do with it, only to later on admit that your website was compromised, and then only to go ahead and revise the history yet again and lie and say nothing ever happened. But yet, it's a ghost town over there. Apparently, like, the King of Hate vlogs is where all of the old fans go to die, pretty much. So, we all know that your website's garbage. As it pertains to the collectives of their intelligence, the smart ones got out of that website when they did. A lot of them went ahead and left your fan base when they had the chance. It's funny how the very people that you say that are fucking idiots used to be in your fan base, Phil. Some of them. So how stupid were they? How stupid were they to go ahead and wash off basically all of the abuse, all the toxic behavior, all of the nothingness? You didn't provide anything. You weren't capable of doing it, so they left. You didn't respect them. You didn't even respect your content. And you couldn't take anybody's opinion. Oh my. And yet, you're the one with the business degree, right? You're the one that's the lucky one, right? Being able to make a living off YouTube, and yet you're the one who's begging. So even within Tevin's fan base or your own, who's the real idiot? The man who has the 10-year legacy, but yet can't hold a woman, can't hold a job, couldn't hold his career, if you want to call it that, and who's in debt up to the hilt over a YouTube channel. And just everybody else who's looking to pass the time by. At the end of the day, Phil, when Tevin cuts his computer off, just like the rest of us, we go back to our lives and we go back to fun stuff. You have to live this failure. All day, every day. People get to live through, get to look at your failure through watching these videos, but they don't have to deal with it They get to watch it for the hour or two or however long, because my videos run long, and then they off to their normal life. You have to continue to live this, because you don't got no choice. You're stuck. Oh boy, that hurt. That hurt. It hurt to say. Let's continue. DSP News.
Who's always focused on toxic shit. Fuck you. You're a liar.
But, you know, some people will just get by however they can. When you have no fucking talent, you know, you have to get by however you can. If it means you bring down others who have talent, go ahead. You know, that's what they fucking do. After all the shit, you know, that I've been doing, been around for over 10 years, I'm not going anywhere. It doesn't matter how many assholes there are out there who are gonna try to jump on my coattails and fucking try to make a name for themselves, making fun of me and doing stupid shit. None of it matters. None of it matters. I'm not going anywhere. I will still fucking be here in the morning. Just remember that.
No matter.
I mean, unless the gin or the gout stops you.
Well, I find a way. I find a way to survive. Phil is like the amoeba, or you know, he's the rat, the creature that even if there were a nuclear apocalypse, Phil would survive.
And trust me, a lot of people are very happy about that because they want to keep making fun of me and doing stupid shit in regards to me.
Actually, that's actually a pretty good analogy because a rat will eat its own if it has to continue to survive. So yeah, I think that's fair. How many people have you eaten, Phil? How many people did you cast off so you could continue to take another step? I'm just saying. I mean, I can name quite a few, but I'm just curious. I was wondering if maybe you can come clean about that. Because all of them there, everybody in your fan base, in the pig roach cult, in the nest, if you will, that piggy roach nest over there, they're all disposable. And they're certainly replaceable, if you could figure out a way to replace them, of course. Let's continue.
If I were to go away, where the fuck would they be? Who the fuck would give two shits about a Tevin if I didn't exist? Zero!
The salty tears. Salty, salty tears.
Not sure if you guys just said, ouch. Nah. Well, hey. Being honest, I mean, someone brought it up, I'll be honest about it. I don't talk about it unless someone brings it up. The sad part is that people are so dumb, they believe the shit that those negative people say. That's the sad part. Like today, perfect example. Today, you know, Stan Lee passed away. Rest in peace again to Stan the Man Lee. You know, really, I was always a huge fan of his, and especially Marvel Comics and the stuff that he did. We had, between my pre-stream earlier today and the first probably
Oh, that's true, because you were crying about that Wolverine doll, and or Wolverine action figure, I should say. And you still do it up to this day. So much so, in fact, that you're so butthurt, but yet you're trying to keep a public image that you've actually rewritten your actual history on that yet again. Did you forget, though, that there are videos out there that talk about this, that have clipped what you said originally a couple of years ago about it? And then you think you can just twist it again? We'll go over that in another video. We're not going to do it today. But, because that's way too much salt and bullshit to go through in one broadcast. But we will go through it, because it's hilarious. And it's pathetic. It's pathetic that a grown-ass man can't accept the fact that he didn't get a figure that he wanted when he wanted it. He did get it later on down the line. If you guys have actually heard the whole clip, he does eventually get it. But he says, oh, I'm not into that anymore, and I've moved on to other things, and my parents were fucking idiots. Which is what he said. I didn't say that. He did. And that's why people pick that shit apart. Because who talks like that about their parents? You know, you remember your parents, right, Phil? The very parents that you had to fly from Connecticut to Seattle so they could paint your house, do your lawn, fix your toilet, because you couldn't do it yourself. And you didn't want to spend any money on it. But you didn't mind your parents flying across country to do it. And then you were such a piece of shit that you couldn't even let them stay in the house. You went ahead and had them stay in a hotel, allegedly. Yeah, you're really son of the year, I gotta tell you. DSP News.
Hours of gameplay. All people were talking about coming into the stream was Stan Lee. What's your favorite memories of Stan Lee? Like, we had a really fun, interesting conversation regarding Stan Lee and Marvel Comics and everything for about 2 hours straight. Okay. Someone takes something out of context during that 2-hour discussion, positive about Stan, and says, "Oh, Phil laughed about Stan Lee's death. Look at this clip." Huh? And you look at it, you're like, huh?
Sorry for fucking what? I did nothing wrong. I did everything correct.
That's, if you even look at the clip, that's not even what's in the clip. But these idiots are spreading it that Phil did this toxic thing, he laughed at Stan Lee's death. What? Did you watch the stream? For 2 hours we were talking positively about what a great guy this guy was. and how much he meant to so many different people. And
he must have not meant that much to you. It's funny how in 2 hours, Phil, you could fuck it all up in 5 minutes. Just saying. You did say it. I showed the clip of it earlier. Everybody saw it. It's not like you didn't say it. And if the stream was so positive, that would have never came up. You see how that works, Phil? You don't joke about a man or a woman who dies. It doesn't work that way. And for you to have to suck Stan Lee's dick for 2 fucking hours is already kind of sad in itself. Pay your respects to the man and keep it moving. You had to drag that shit out for 2 fucking hours, only to fuck it up later? I don't know, Phil. It might have been 2 hours too long. Just saying. Should have said your initial RIPs, given a moment of silence, and kept it moving. But you're such a fucking idiot that you messed that up. You messed that up. So when you talk about, oh, well, what will happen if you're not around? Phil, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Like Tevin, like others, I'm just waiting to see you sink. That's it. To be honest. And whether I'm still making videos when that time comes or not. I'm still going to support other people who do. But you're going to fall. You know it. I like the look that he has on his face currently because it's almost like he can hear me. You're going to fall. You're going to fail. And you're not going to have anybody to blame but yourself. But it's going to be funny to hear what your excuses are. Are we going to go ahead and conjure up Fred Fucks and go ahead and blame him? Is that who we're going for next? Miss Dyer, we're going to go and get him? Justine, if she's not getting gangbanged? Your words, not mine? You've done a very, very good job over this 10 years on the internet trying to have self-validation, try to make yourself seem more than what you are, to only screw it all up. And this was seen years ago. Funny enough, Aryan Lord actually had mentioned this in his perspective of you in 2014. I'm actually going to go over that video for for either a gout and wine or a wine and doubt. Haven't decided yet. I'm going to shout out Almighty Tevin for that because he played that on the stream last night. And I only heard maybe a half hour of it. But it was enough to be like, that seems interesting. So it's funny, Phil, that how people within your own fan base saw your failure before you did. And yet you refused to listen. Because you thought, because you were successful, that you were going to keep doing what you're doing. And eventually your time would come around again. And that's not how life works. Dspnews.
Take something completely out of context to make it negative. That's the shit they do.
And then your people, Phil's a toxic streamer. No, you tried to make me look like that when that's not the reality of my streams at all, because you want to have a good, jolly laugh on fucking Tevin's stream, right? And you're a fucking loser. It's so ridiculous. My mouth is full of salt. And that's absolutely correct, Android. You're right that if someone is illegally restreaming my stream, those are my views. You're right, they are. What? What?
It's just that they want to stay on that negative stream and do negative toxic shit they know they can't do here. So, but those would be my viewers if that guy wasn't allowed to do it. But that's the sad fact, is that YouTube doesn't give a fuck. He's breaking YouTube's terms of service every single day doing it, but YouTube will not shut him down. People have told me.
But why would you care? They're all just negative, toxic people anyway with the intellect of negative 77. So why would you want that? You need sheep, Phil, not wolves. Gang, gang. That's what's over here. Wolves. Some of them used to be sheep, but there are wolves over here now. You can't contend with that. You're barely keeping the ones over there at bay. So what do you really want with the individuals that are over here? You weren't entertaining enough. You weren't engaging enough. And you weren't even smart enough to control yourself. So why would they need to go over there and deal with your bullshit? There's way too much fun over here. I'm sorry, Phil. There's way too much freedom over here. People want to go over there with the Gestapo tactics, or only can really engage with people if they're going ahead and jerking each other off. in all senses of the word, apparently, then they can go over there. But even then, there's so much doubt and there's so much paranoia that it's not worth it. And you yourself know that. So this is what the thing is, Phil. I've been thinking about this for a little while. And the Outsider, shouts out the Outsider, had mentioned this also, that when you're checking your phone sometimes, Phil, I think you're actually checking, well, we both think, that you're actually checking Tevin's stream. That's what I'm thinking you're doing. And I'm pretty confident that you might be doing that because I know for sure that people in your chat are. Because Tevin will make a joke, or someone in Tevin's chat will make a joke, and then it'll pop up in your chat. And there's plenty of examples of this. I don't know. I think things are hitting you closer to home than even you want to admit. But jealousy is a hell of a drug. I got to tell you, Phil. Dspnews?
Tried and they ignore it because they can never catch it live because he doesn't leave the streams public, so there's no evidence of him doing it, and YouTube takes like days to respond to a report, so by the time that they actually look into the report, there's no evidence of any wrongdoing. It's a fucking joke is what it is.
So I think we've talked long enough about the asshole. Let's not extend this fucking conversation. Let's change the subject. There's many other positive, productive things we could talk about that besides wasting time on a fucking no-life idiot, who, by the way, will not be around forever. He's going to get shut down eventually. Oh my god! I can't stop laughing! Once YouTube finally starts being lazy as fuck and actually abides by their own terms of service.
Ow! Why'd you do that? Why did you do that? Why'd you just go to bite mommy? Wow. Alright, so you see what pigs can do.
Yep, I'm toxic. Then we'll see how many of his fucking 1,000 followers follow him over to fucking Mixer. Mixer or Hitbox or some other fucking place no one ever watches anybody.
Was 100% solved. Third Eye says, I'll say this, hate will never unite people. If you know who stops attacking you, then all of his followers will just find their next Hitler. It's true. Ha!
I'm Hitler. That's right. This is the United States of Phil. I am the supreme being. I make the rules, and what I say goes. This is not a place for you to stand on your soapbox and complain about censorship and freedom of speech, because the bottom line is you don't have freedom of speech. This is my land.
You're right. You're absolutely right. It's like I said, that guy would be nowhere with...
Actually, it's not even his land because he can't afford it. He's still leasing it from the bank. So until someone comes up from under him and sweeps it up, he's still just leasing. Kind of like with Cat. Until he puts a ring on it, it's not his. He's just renting and whatnot. When he puts a ring on it, he's renting with the option to buy. Until he walks her down the aisle, and then he actually, he can actually say it's his. And Phil's not going to do any one of those things. I think Kat realized that early when Phil was like, yeah, we're not having kids. Someone had actually mentioned that to me too. We're going to actually go over that in probably in another Doubt and Wine or something. That's going to be real interesting to see how that plays out. But let's continue.
Without me, right? And then everyone who's negative, they wouldn't like support him. They move on to someone else. That's how they are. It's a crowd mentality of toxicity. That's how they operate. Hoopster says, I'm amazed you stay positive and you push forward despite so many obstacles and all the negativity and shit. Yeah, I don't care. I just don't care.
I know you're lying.
As I said, 10 years. And that's the thing. In 10 years, how many people... What the fuck? Hey, Wilbur. In 10 years, how many people have made fun of me? How many people have been negative toward me? How many people have hated on me? And I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still doing what I love. I'm not gonna go anywhere because of these fucking fools. Yeah, how many people who've done that are gone and no one talks about them anymore, right?
I love begging and I love it. I love doing this for a living.
That's the way you gotta look at it. Oh my god, the Wolverine toy story? There is no Wolverine toy story. It's something that's completely been over-exaggerated by dumb fucks.
Over 1,800 milligrams of sodium. 1,800 milligrams of sodium. With this salt flavor. Ugh.
It's hilarious because I told the story once ever, years and years and years ago. On Ask the King or whatever. Then the haters turned it into like a meme that they talk about every year. And I actually told my dad about it. I was like, hey dad, do you remember when I was a kid that Wolverine toy? He was like, yeah, I remember. Why? I was like, because some idiots actually think that that's like some big momentous part of like our relationship. When in reality, it's like a little thing that really didn't matter at all. And he had a good laugh about it with me. We're like, wow, people are actually that much.
Okay, let's stop right there. So you had to go to your father for validation about a story that you told about him and your mother. You called your parents fucking idiots because they wouldn't get you a toy when you wanted it. And as of late, you've been trying to twist the story to make it sound like, oh, originally they had the money to buy it, they just didn't buy it because they were fucking idiots. And now you've been twisting the story over the last year or so about, oh, well, they didn't have a lot of money, so they really couldn't. Like, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say that your parents weren't capable of giving you the things that you wanted? Are you saying that they weren't able to kind of fulfill your childhood needs and desires? At the end of the day, I'm sure they gave you what you needed. Well, kind of, sort of. I don't know. Mentally, you're still out there. But, I mean, physically, it looked like you didn't miss any meals. So, there's that. But you had to go to Daddy, to Daddy Burnell and be like, hey, Pop, I got something I need to talk to you about. These haters really getting at me. Well, go ahead, son. What's the ow, god damn, that hurts. Snort. Fuck. Stop doing that shit. God damn, that shit hurt. Snort, son. What's the problem? Well, these haters out here, man, they just keep, dude, they keep railing on me, man, and they keep talking shit about me, and then they keep bringing up the Wolverine toy when I was 15 and shit, and they just keep joking about it, man, and it's just starting to get the best of me. Well, son, you gotta let that go. You know what I'm saying? It's just a toy. Why'd you even tell that story? What was the point of that? Oh, well, I was just saying how important it was to make sure that, soon-to-be parents get their kids anything they fucking want because they're spoiled pieces of shit. And I thought it was some good advice. Well, son, a lesson learned, I would suppose. You might want to stop telling people about yourself. Because it looks like it's just coming back to haunt you, and it's not helping. It's not helping at all. As your father, I don't mind telling you these things, because, that's my job. But maybe you should just consider not sharing as much. When really what's going into Papa Burnell's head is being like, why can't my kid just shut the fuck up? You could try that, Phil. It might have helped you. You know what I mean? Everything that you do, the majority of your life has been documented online by you yourself. Of course, people are going to pick shit apart because of how much of it there is. And the fact that you're trying to change your story, not just this one, but any story that you've pretty much told, only makes it worse. You make it sound like it's hard to look up DSP Wolverine and see what pops up. A couple keystrokes. You know all about stroking. And so this isn't a problem. You really need to learn how to shut the fuck up. But you going to Daddy and having Daddy make you feel better about your situation, a situation that you put yourself in, by the way. Despite the fact that him and your mom are probably giving you money each month, so you could continue to pay your bills. You haven't come out and said that yet, but I can guess that's what the situation is. That's why I would assume that you actually call your parents each week. I very likely doubt it's more about, asking how they're doing and more about, this is what my financial situation is. How can you guys help me at the end of the month? I know, that seems harsh, GTG. Why would you say that? Because he's a piece of shit, and that's what he's capable of doing. You're telling me that an individual who accesses strangers for money every day doesn't have it in him to access elderly parents for money each month? Just saying. Dspnews.
Right? Yup, they are. They actually think that fucking Wolverine toy actually mattered. Idiots.
Salt, 90% of the time. I went to a comic book store.
Yeah, you're about to hear it now, but you're the one who went on like a 5-minute rant. Well, I think the original clip is like 6 minutes and some change. You're the one who went on a 5 or 6 minute rant about it and called your parents fucking idiots. I've never called my parents that. I have no reason to. But you did. Hence the reason why people called it out. And should any of us really be surprised? He's never respected or valued anybody in his life outside of what they could do for him. So should any of this be a surprise either? Just saying. Let's hear the story.
Okay, my parents, and the Wolverine figure was there. And I turned to my mother and father and I said, guys, listen, I want that action figure for my birthday. So, please, what I would ask you, I've never asked you to do this before. We know how rare that figure is. We know we've been to stores endlessly and we've never seen it in the flesh. It's finally here in front of our faces. Please buy the figure now. Hide it from me for whatever, for months until my birthday, and give it to me on my birthday. And so, like, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in a row, they still didn't buy it, right? Week 4, we go back. It's gone. So my birthday came and passed, and guess what? My parents go, we're very sorry, Philip, but we couldn't find the action figure. I said, I told you to buy the figure. Why don't you listen to me? Like, it was such a no-brainer. All they had to do was buy it then. They could have hidden it forever. I would have never bugged them for it till my birthday. I knew I was going to get it on my birthday. Because they didn't...
Now let me cut in while this cunt sitting here being a bitch. First off and foremost, I want you guys to pay attention to the situation at hand. Meaning his surroundings at the time. This is before the big money really started to kind of flow in. You can tell that because you can see the walls are bare. Yeah? So this is before he was able to fill his space with all the things that he wanted to buy because he couldn't. And it's amazing how that action figure, I feel, is the catalyst for all that. That one figure is the one that bothers him so much that he spent all of his money, pretty much as much of it as he could, I should say, getting wall art, action figures, statues, this, that, and the third. Everything to fill his piggy little heart with the emptiness from that action figure. Not just that. But ladies and gentlemen, he does admit that he does eventually get the action figure. His birthday, if I remember correctly, is in April. He more than likely got the birthday gift for Christmas. And they more likely bought it somewhere between that first and third week and just decided, well, we'll give that to him for his as one of his Christmas gifts. We'll get him this for his birthday. I'm just throwing that out there as a scenario. It could have been that they really were sold out. Who cares? What's important here is how he reacted to it. And more importantly than that, how he's held on to it for all these years. That's what's amusing about the story. That's what fascinates people about it. He's 36. He was at least in his late 20s at this point. It was like he was like 15 when this whole situation happened. Now he's trying to scale it back to that he was between 10 and 12. He's trying to stay face. That's what's fascinating about the Wolverine action figure story. That a grown man, after all this span of time, still couldn't let it go. And in turn, probably guilt trips his parents about it. Not maybe on the regular, but certainly semi-regularly. He always, I'm guarantee you, he's just pathetic and pitiful enough to let them know, you know, guys, I really didn't get that figure when I wanted. You know, by the time you guys got it to me, it was the second run, and it wasn't worth a lot. And just imagine what it could have been worth now. It wouldn't have been worth shit because you would have opened it up and you would have played with it. It wouldn't have been worth shit. Kind of like those statues that you have. If you took care of them, they might have been worth something. But they're in that nook now. The majority of them are broken. And then any legitimate offer that you get for it, because I've seen someone on Twitter talk about it, you won't sell it. You won't sell it because it's a trophy from your past when you thought you were something. That's the real reason why he won't sell them. Food for thought. Dspnews.
I didn't get it. I did eventually get it, but it was the second run, and of course now it's a year later. Do you really think that something I wanted a year ago is as valuable as, you know, but then I was already starting to move into other stuff. And yes, I see someone asking in the chat, yes, my parents did have the money to buy it. They were just fucking stupid.
Human know much curious, if there were a documentary about YouTube gamers, would you participate? It depends. It would depend on who's making it, how exactly do they want to cover me in the documentary? You know, it all depends. It all depends. Let me put it this way. I wouldn't outright just say no out of nowhere. I would consider it if it were an intelligent person doing it, if it were someone who were going to cover it fairly and show, you know, both the positives and negatives about my time on YouTube. Then I would consider doing it. Poopster says I think
no. What he wants is someone to only concentrate on the positives. He wants someone that, first off, he definitely wants to be paid for this. He wants to be paid for his time. He wants to be paid for his story. Which is kind of pointless because you can find pretty much his whole gaming career, air quotes, on YouTube. You don't need to go to him for that or any of that. If you want to get his perspective, he's done a couple of podcasts in the past. This is when he was still brave. It's all there, pretty much. You don't need it. You can compile it all together and make it happen. And like I said, he's not going to want to talk about any of the negativity, not without being able to skew it. So it's not going to be honest. Now keep in mind, like any documentary or any biopic, it's not going to be completely legit. Let me give you guys an example. Straight Outta Compton. That's just bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. It's entertaining, yes. Sure, without a doubt. But is it accurate? No. Not even close. Not even close. That shit is not accurate. Motherfuckers have been killed over that to prove that it's not accurate. But that's a whole nother story for another day. We'll get into that shit. I can recommend you guys some documentaries that you can watch that proves my point. But it's not about proving it. It's just that's just how it is. No one ever wants the truth to come out, especially at a time that's really negative in their life. Phil is no different. But Phil's whole goddamn life is negative. Think about it. How is it that the best 2 months of his life this year were the times that Tut was around giving him money? How is it that Dragon Quest is probably the only positive thing in his life at that time because it allowed him to relax and he didn't have the pressure? How is it that he comes out of a 5-year relationship and jumps into a relationship with someone that he certainly does not know almost diddly shit about and say that's his fucking soulmate? How is it someone who spent years and years and years with people like John, Howard, OJ, and whatnot can cast them off and act like he's all good? That it's no big deal and none of that shit that they said affects him. We know it affects him, obviously, but he can act like it doesn't mean anything. Are you guys telling me that when John Rambo did John Rambo Presents the Show, it's 200 episode, which, as been described, is basically a reunion from everybody from Project 7. You telling me he didn't feel a certain type of way that he wasn't there? Think about that. Dspnews.
Toy Story's kind of cute. I can't believe that, detractors make it into a big thing. I agree. Like, when I told the story, I wasn't telling it from any kind of a malicious standpoint, like I hold resentment against my parents for it or something. I don't.
I told you to buy the figure. Why don't you listen to me? Read.
It was just kind of a silly story. I remember this toy that I really wanted. I saw it leading up to Christmas over and over, and then couldn't get it because my parents hadn't picked it up in time, and it was sold out everywhere. And by the time they'd gotten it for me, I didn't really care about it anymore. And the whole point of the story I was trying to tell was, if you have kids and you have the opportunity to get them a Christmas present they want like super early, get it for them super early. Don't wait, because then they'll be super disappointed with you. If you promise them you can get it, and then you can't. I was trying to help people who were growing up, it was some life advice.
Okay, this shows how much of a shitty parent he is. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here to give you parental advice because I don't have kids myself yet. But what I do know is that you can't give your kids everything, so you don't promise it. Secondly, if you get your kids every single goddamn thing they want, they start to expect it. Even the best kid who does all of his chores, who has great grades, and all this, that, and the third, doesn't get everything he or she wants, and that's okay. It's one of the most valuable lessons in life that you're never going to get everything that you want, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't strive to be the best that you can be and be a decent individual. It helps develop character instead of being Phil and just being a fucking character or a Muppet. Both, really, in a lot of cases. So it's kind of, he is very much, in some ways, a product of his upbringing. If he's just a whiny little bitch now, I can imagine what kind of little piece of shit he was back when he was a kid, wanting everything that he wanted right then and there, which is the main problem with that whole Wolverine figure story, is the fact that he wanted something, he wanted it right then and there, and he didn't get it, and he's been bitching about it for years on end. That's the main point. But he doesn't understand that. And it's funny because this fucking moron here, if someone called him fucking stupid, he fucking loses panties over it. But he can call that to his parents and be like, oh, there was nothing malicious behind it. And this is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you have no social interaction with anybody face to face. This is what happens when you don't actually talk to a group of people who aren't sucking you off at every given moment. Not everybody you're going to talk with is going to agree with you. Look at the comment section of this. Well, I would assume the comment section of this video, or any of my videos, of any detractor video. They don't agree with everything that's been said, or every joke that's thrown out and expressed. That's okay. You're not supposed to. You are not, and this is subjective, I suppose, but you're not as great as people say that you are, and you're certainly not as bad as people say you are. With Phil, I'll give you an example. Is Phil evil? No. He's too stupid to be evil. Is he not a good person? Oh, most certainly. Most certainly. He is a living compost of shit. He's the worst example. He's one of, no, he's not the worst. He's one of the worst examples of his generation for sure. Of many people's generations. He's not someone that you would want to put up and be like, he's the shining beacon of anything. He's not that of humanity, of gaming, of an adult, nothing. He virtually turns everything he touches to shit. He's a failure to the greatest definition of the word. He's someone who gets mad that people rail off on him for fun. But when he does it, he gets mad because he gets backlash. When he did the exact same thing. And most of the time, he's done worse. He's someone who has laughed at the potential of someone dying because it was amusing to him. And with enough seriousness to it that he would hope that, oh, if that person did pass away, like says one of the Logan brothers, that YouTube would be better. Over a fucking site. Over a fucking site that you yourself were placed on. Everybody on this site's replaceable. One day, if not already, someone better is going to step up to this mic and do what I do better. I hope for it. I pray for it. Because that's what needs to happen. And that's what all detractors should want. You're hoping that someone watches your material or watches other people's material within, your circles, if you will, and can come at it from a different angle and can be better at it. You should be happy for your fellow detractors, or in this circle and other circles, your fellow content creators in general. But see, Phil never learned that lesson. And this is a lesson that you just get from being around people. If the people that you're around, that you're hanging out with, is upset or has a negative attitude to you doing well, then you shouldn't be around them. Period. Jealousy does not have a place really in anything. Because what that means is you're too lazy essentially to obtain what other people have attained. First off. Second off, you shouldn't want what other people have. You should strive to have better. Or be content with what you have until you can get better. Phil never learned that. And I don't know if that's just a product of his upbringing, if that's just what it's like to be born a piggy piece of shit. I don't know. But that is what makes him fascinating. He's literally the piggy blueprint of what you shouldn't be. Now the matter is, the fact at hand, and the task at hand, to be honest with you, is to go ahead and disassemble the code and figure out how not to have other pieces of shit come out like him. Whether it's nature or nurture, and that's going into it deep. I want to actually do a podcast with numerous people talking about that. But whatever it is that made Phil Burnell the way he is, it needs to stop. And that's why so many people are drawn to him, at least from an attention standpoint. Because everybody can always say, oh, he's a piece of shit, he's a terrible Let's Player, why are you guys railing off on him? Until they actually get to see some of his shit and they're like, oh wow, he really is a piece of garbage. It doesn't take much. And if the people who continue to hold on to that narrative, it's because you're comfortable holding on to that narrative. It's easier for you to look at him as just a shit Let's Player and keep it moving because you're comfortable with that. Because maybe, just maybe, there's an aspect of him that's in you. And I say that to all of us in a lot of ways. Food for thought. Dspnews.
To me as a kid, people think like, feels like a entitled little child, he wanted this toy and rah, 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 rah. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was a kid, this is the truth, when I was a little kid, my parents would take me to the toy store, okay? And oh shit, what the fuck? What the holy shit was that? Guy was fucking camping in the bathroom taking a shit in the tub. What the fuck, dude? What? I was not expecting that whatsoever, dude. Anyway, when I was a little kid, and my parents would take me to the store, here's what they would do. You know how little kids get bratty, and they want a toy, right? They want it so fucking bad. They would, give me a toy, give me a toy. You know, I want a toy. And parents were like, no, I can't get you that toy right now, or whatever. And they'd be like little brats, would be all fucking pouty all day. When I was a kid, apparently, this is what my parents tell me, they would go to the store, and they would say, they would take me right to the toy store first, or the toy department first of the store. And they would grab a figure that I liked and let me hold it the whole time. And I would look at it and, you know, kind of mess around with it, play with it if I wanted to. You know, don't take it out of the package, but just look at it, whatever. And I would be very pleased as they did all their shopping throughout the store to just look at that figure the whole time. And at the end of the trip, they'd say, okay, Philip, you know, we can't get that today. Okay, I understand. You know, it's a birthday or some special holiday coming up. Maybe I can have it. But I can't just have that just because we're at a store. You know, my parents weren't fucking rich where they could just buy toys every time we went to a store. And I understood that as a kid.
And yes, I see someone asking in the chat, yes, my parents did have the money to buy it. They were just fucking stupid.
So they would actually put it back, and I would be okay. You know, now how many kids, you know, do you know that I guess are like that? You know, a lot of kids, they're bratty, and, you know, they want that fucking toy no matter what, and if you don't buy that toy for them, they're gonna fucking have a temper tantrum for the rest of the day. But I was never like that. I was literally the opposite of being like a brat when I was a kid. Because I understood my parents didn't have a ton of money, and they were doing what they could to make a nice life for me, and I didn't want to be an ungrateful little shit, you know? That's how I always was.
It's amazing how he has no flaws whatsoever. That's basically what he's trying to tell you. He had no flaws ever in his life. Hence the meme, oh, I did nothing wrong. I did everything correct. He really, like I said, I believe it's really not to convince other people, believe it or not. It's to convince himself. It's to reinsure himself that he has no flaws. Which is fucking crazy. Everybody has flaws. Everybody. It's what makes us who we are. He wants to talk about being a fucking human being. That's the point of being a human being. Is you have flaws. And you can't fix all of them. You made some mistakes. No big deal. You were a piece of shit kid. No big deal. You turned out to be a piece of shit adult. It worked out, kinda. For you anyway. You're okay with it. You certainly didn't do anything to try to change it. So this narrative that I was absolutely perfect and I understood what the situation was at an early age and I was just so superior to everybody else is horseshit. No pun intended.
But so for them to spin, for them to spin the story, that, oh, because I didn't get a toy for Christmas, I'm so kind of like an entitled brat, and then they bring it up like a meme. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like the opposite of how I fucking was as a kid. But that's the thing. They literally make that shit up to spout this toxic narrative about me that has no foothold in fucking reality at all. Like I said, they took a clip out of context about my stream earlier today to say that I was basically laughing at the death of Stan Lee. That never happened at all. Once during that stream. It was 2 hours of us saying nice things about how much we all appreciate Stan Lee as a good person, and they take something out of context to make it seem like the opposite, because that's what they are. They're scumbags. And it's so fucked up.
Yes, please pass me the salt, Karmika. I need more salt. Definitely. Salt or no salt, you gotta have some salt. No salt, they end up being kind of bland.
If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, so what happened was today we were having really nice, fun conversations about Stan Lee and our experiences with Stan as a creator over the years, all the Marvel stuff that we were fans of. And someone in the stream chat, I forget his name, said, you know, Stan would basically, most people of his age, he was 95 years old when he passed away, if you guys aren't aware. Holy shit, I mean, he lived really long, right? But anyway, most people who are 95 years old would be content just to sit at home and do nothing.
That's like me, right? That's like me.
Stan was the opposite. He wanted to be in all the Marvel movies. He wanted to be constantly going to conventions, meeting the fans, shaking the hands. He wanted to have a hand in all this stuff. Like, he was the ultimate active guy, even at his age. And the joke that someone actually made in the stream chat, which I laughed at, was,
gee, I wonder when people will start arguing about how he died. Maybe, you know, he was skydiving from 5 million feet and his chute didn't deploy. Or he was at a fucking Metallica concert and he got trampled in a random mosh pit stampede or something. You know, that's things typically you hear a 95-year-old guy you'd never hear. But with Stan Lee, maybe that's what happened because that's the kind of lifestyle he lived. He was always an active guy, right? So that's really what the clip is.
In context, but if you just watch the clip, it's like, yes, you know, haha, Stanley died today. Maybe he died, but his ripcord didn't deploy, or he got stampeded at a Metallica concert. If you just hear it out of context, you have no idea what I'm even talking about. But that's the thing, like...
It is pretty fascinating, though, that you have someone who's 95 years old. You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to live that long or not is up to you. You might not actually have a real choice in that, depending on certain factors. But 95 years old, who's way more active. Just active. Let's not talk about success and well-known and all that shit. Just way more active than someone who's 36 with gout. That's sad. That's really, really sad. When there are people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, ages that Phil might not even reach, who do more than he does. Wow. Dspnews.
People are fucking nut jobs, and that's what they want to do. They want to always make things sound like it's something that it's not.
Salt. That's all I can taste is salt. But I'll be honest, all I can really taste is salt.
Well, thank you, Himanoma, for another 100-bit cheer. He said, no worries, you know, Stan got much respect on my stream. I know he did. I know he did. I would never, especially of all the people, like, I'm a huge fan of Stan Lee. I wouldn't fucking talk shit about him ever, you know?
Oniony, salty aftertaste in my mouth. It's Tevin's fault. What pasta do you prefer? I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a beggar. Phil's a racist. Phil's a scammer. DSP's a pedophile. DSP is a thief. DSP is a greedy fuck.
This guy's a bitch.
I have a micro penis. Alright, I'm not dead, but I swear to God I wish I fucking was.
The Snake tipped me $1. It's funny how Almighty Tevin is streaming your stream and he has 1,000 viewers. It's not funny, it's illegal. It's not funny, it's illegal. It's also funny that everyone on his stream is a toxic piece of crap. And hilarious that I do this for a living, right? And I make way more money than Tevin, even though I have way less viewers. Let's think about that for a second. Let's really think about that for a second.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Mr. Huffstuffs, DarkSydePhil, Tevin, and the Trolls. I like how he did, how he used this overlay too. I liked how he did that. That was kind of slick. It's like Phil looking at Phil. failure, literally in the same timeline. That's scary. It's so scary.
Think about who's actually has quality followers and who's just a bunch of dumb fuck kids who are just doing illegal shit and trolling and shit, you know. Two completely different kinds of audiences. I will forever love my audience over that kind of audience.
Okay, illegal trolling shit. Now keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, as far as I know, I've never known Almighty Tevin, praise be Almighty, to send his fan base out to flag videos. Or to try to take down channels. Things that have been confirmed that Phil engaged in. I don't know, or I've never even heard of, Tevin sending out, or no, not even sending out, encouraging, allegedly, people to go and attack other people on a site over some shit that turned out to be not true. And then, when shit started to hit the fucking fan, as it always will happen, end up disavowing all of them and at least throwing one of them, the main gunner, under the bus. Just saying. I don't know that Tevin has ever told us a story only to revise it later to try to make himself look good, when in turn he just makes himself look more and more like an idiot. I've never seen or heard Tevin do any of those three things. But those are all things that Phil has done. Sitting from his gout-ridden love seat, failing miserably at the only thing that he could possibly ever really do right. So when he talks about 10 years and this, that, and the third, you stuck there. You there because you can't do anything else. You're the one who said you can't go back into your own field that you have a degree in because you've been out the field too long. And you're too scared to go back in, start from the ground up, and just start over. Which is, guess what, Phil, is what you're going to have to do anyway. You're going to eventually have to start over. And sadly, it's going to be rock bottom. And you don't see it yet. So all this money that you're hoping that's going to show up in the next 4 or 5 years, all of this, that, and the third, you could lose all of it. And you could literally start off with nothing. And at least, to some degree, you'll be at least a step or two above Christian. Maybe. Oh boy, let's continue.
Toxic, immature shit.
Potential collapse detected. Advise relocation to indicated safe imminent. Get to
Hoopster says, I hate when people don't want to help build a community, but instead destroy what other people have built. That's correct. And it's funny because, again, there's so many people who all they do is bring down others, yet they wouldn't exist if those others weren't successful in the fucking first place. You know what I mean? Like, I have 1,000 people on my stream making fun of someone. Yeah, but if that person wasn't successful, you wouldn't exist. You're a professional ass, basically.
But how is Tevin bringing down your community? How is he bringing you down? You brought yourself down. No one told you to act the way you acted over the years. No one told you not to save your money. No one told you to pass up on business opportunities because it was against your fucking morals. In an industry that, sorry Phil, is your bread and butter. No one told you to do any of that. Tevin doesn't tell you every day, hey, you better go ahead and beg on stream there, Phil. It's the only way you're going to get money because you're not good enough to do anything else. He doesn't tell you to do that, nor did he push you there. You brought yourself there. When you wake up every morning, Phil, and you look in that mirror, and I know that's a hard look you have to take. I know it. You're the one who chooses every day to beg for money. Period. You can go ahead and flip it any which way you want to do it to help you sleep at night and keep your gout from flaring up. But at the end of the day, the only reason why you're where you're at, I should say, is because you begged to get there. You failed. Your 10 years don't mean shit. It's a laughing stock. It's a passable joke that other people have been able to spread around and turn into something. Something that you yourself couldn't do. You're such an idiot. You're such a failure that you can't even capitalize on your own failure. You can't capitalize on your own shortcomings. This is how you don't play. Could have been a partnership for at least a couple of years that could have been lucrative. But you passed it up because your ego was too goddamn big. And now look, now you don't get none of the money and people are still making money off of it. No one brought your community down but you. The thing that makes it even more funny, the thing that makes it even more ironic, is that it was the very people who used to be in your fan base are the ones who actually orchestrated your own downfall. And they all learned from the best. That's what makes it even more ironic. That's what makes it even more fascinating. Think about that. Dspnews.
Talk shit about people. How is that any fucking value? And why do you think you have so many immature fucking people on your stream constantly? And you could never hold an intelligent fucking conversation if you wanted to, because the collective IQ in there is probably about -77. You know, it's like a vacuum of fucking stupidity. I would never want to do that. I want to be someone creative who creates something positive and fun. I don't want to be someone who's always focused on toxic shit. But, you know, some people...
Okay, well, let's talk about that then, Phil. What did you create that's so fun and positive? When, on this stream, you had, what, 200, 215, 220? It wasn't until you started talking shit is when you got up to 250, 275, and then after that was over with, the stream was pretty much over with, and you immediately dropped. Aren't you the same individual who said, and I quote, when I put out a positive video about something a positive video about a game, I get nothing in views. But when I go ahead and rail off at a video, I get all the views that I could ever want. That was you. And you're the one who did that. You talk about all these people who jump on these different trends to get popular. You've tried all of them too. You've been a good hoe and jumped on quite a bit to go ahead and make your rounds. If YouTube has any STDs whatsoever, you certainly have caught all of them. Because you've tried just about everything. And you still failed. Miserably at that. The very man who you hate on right now breathes life into you. Literally. Literally. Now, I'm not saying that he's the only one. But he breathes life into you. And you know it. That's why you're going back to this for the 4th goddamn time. Was the BBC not enough for you the first 3 times? I mean, certainly not enough for Kat, but that's between me and her. But you know what I'm saying? Like, but for you, have you not had enough? Have you not had enough? Are you still that mad at low tier God that he was like, nah, you don't even, nah, just off my dick, please. Please. Stop it, Phil. Are you still so mad at low tier God that you're not man enough to go at him? So you go at the next black guy that you see? Is that what that is? Are you so annoyed by Swaggins, so proud that he has his little crown back, that you're like, God damn, I'm getting tired of these darkies. Shit. Someone needs to take the hit. Is that what that is? What's the problem, Phil? Go ahead, talk to me. I'm here to listen. I'm here to listen. What's up? It's funny, Phil, how you're so goddamn high and mighty. Not almighty, though, but mighty. And yet, it's somebody else's fault for everything. What are you going to do when Kat walks out that door? Real talk. Let's have a little bit of a conversation real fast, and then let's get back to this broadcast, because I don't want to hold anybody up. But what are you going to do when Kat finally walks out that door? Just like Panda did. You going to break out in tears when Panda left? I know you probably had a strong face about it when it happened, if you were even awake when it happened, if you were even sober. But what are you going to do when Kat finally leaves? What are you going to do then? Then you're going to possibly have two women in the same state, possibly, that you lost to greater men, to better men who appreciated them. You had one that loved you, who you forced out, and then you had another one that's really nothing more than just convenience, an arrangement, and she's about to find her way out too. And then, if I remember correctly, I haven't watched the video yet, but James Lester says there's a third one in the mix. She looks older too, which means she might be stable. She might be a little bit more stable. So you're just gonna jump from just woman to woman? What's her quirks? What's her issues, Phil? It's funny, just looking at your face right now. For someone who's supposed to be, well, faces, to be honest with you. For someone who's supposed to be so successful that you're in the shitter. You're in the fucking shitter. You would trade the 10 years that you have for somebody's best day. Because that's the look you have on your face right now. Imagine that. Imagine that all you have at the end of the day is 10 years. And even then it doesn't mean anything. You can't hold on to it. You can't present it. All you can do is keep saying it over and over again. Joseph Goebbels would be proud. Sadly, he's dead. A lot like your career. A lot like anything that you've ever touched, ever cared about, or ever done anything with. Dspnews.
Some people will just get by however they can. When you have no fucking talent, you know, you have to get by however you can. If it means you bring down others who have talent, go ahead. You know, that's what they fucking do. After all the shit, you know, that I've been doing, been around for over 10 years, I'm not going anywhere. It doesn't matter how many assholes there are out there who are going to try to jump on my coattails and fucking try to make a name for themselves, making fun of me and doing stupid shit. None of it matters. None of it matters. I'm not going anywhere. I will still fucking be here in the morning. Just remember that. And trust me, a lot of people are very happy about that because they want to keep making fun of me and doing stupid shit in regards to me. And if I ever were to go away, where the fuck would they be? Who the fuck would give two shits about a Tevin if I didn't exist? Zero!
But you give a fuck about Tevin. Because you're talking about him. For the fourth time, you're the one who gives a fuck about Tevin. You might possibly give a fuck more about Tevin than the rest of us. Praise be. You do. You give a fuck about Tevin. It's funny how your greatest adversary at the moment, you're continuing to praise him. You're continuing to elevate him, almost. Even Tevin doesn't understand why you're doing this. And as for you getting up in the morning, what other choice do you have, Phil? You got bills to pay. You got 2 houses to worry about. You got a house and a condo, I should say. You possibly have 2 car payments to worry about. And even more than that, you have at least 1 trademark that you just recently got your hands on and you had to abandon another. Let's just say, what would happen if next year, early next year, that 1 trademark that you gave up is gone? I wonder how long until your actual one's going to be gone too. So you don't even have ownership of the very shit that you praise. The only thing that you hold your confidence and your ego on, you don't even own it. You gave up DarkSydePhil, the trademark for it anyway, for Dspgaming, an archive YouTube channel? Is that what you did? Is that what you signed? Is that what you signed on your business loans, Phil? DSP Enterprises? Is that what that was? You had to make sure you could tie it all together. Got to keep getting all those nifty business rates. Is that what it's about? I should talk to Memology about that. I should do that. Is that what that was, Phil? Could you not afford both? Phil, you're for sale, bro. You're for sale. Think about that for a minute. If someone chose to, they could own you. Imagine that. 10 years and you built all this on the backs of others, by the way. And most of it you don't even own. You're in debt. And most people are in debt, sure. But they didn't go in debt over a YouTube channel. And all you can do now is chuckle to a few hundred people. Half of them don't give a fuck. The other half can't even really talk because they're too damn scared. And an even smaller percentage of that is too busy jerking themselves off. This is what your kingdom is. And you don't even have that. I own Galtopia. It's mine. You can't even do anything about that. It's funny how all the creative stuff that's out there about you, Phil, belongs to somebody else. That was invented by someone else. That was nourished and taken care of by somebody else. While everything that you have is dying out. Imagine that. Let's continue. Dspnews.
Make sure if you guys said, ouch. Well, hey. Being honest, I mean, someone brought it up, I'll be honest about it. I don't talk about it unless someone brings it up.
Really? Let's talk about your bills for a minute. Let's talk about your ex-girlfriend and shit and how you went ahead and ousted her for it because you were butthurt. Let's talk about how you can't even paint your own house. How you can barely take care of your own lawn, which you don't even do. I think your homeowner association does that. Let's talk about how you're scared to go out during the day unless you're with somebody. Let's talk about how every move that Kat makes when she's not at work, you're pretty much monitoring. Let's talk about how she's not really making all those home-cooked meals for you anymore. Let's talk about how you're probably not sleeping in the same room with each other. Let's talk about how your drinking has increased. Let's talk about how you've been staying up later and later each night. Which means that you're probably hoping to catch Kat when she comes home. And the thing is she probably has already picked up on your drinking habits, so she assumes that you'll be passed out by the time she gets there. Let's talk about how you were bragging about she wants to cook and clean and do all this, that, and the third. When in truth, it's probably a godsend that you learned how to do your laundry right after Panda left. Let's talk about how the only thing that you truly value means nothing. Everything that you were is an illusion. And sadly, you're the only one. You refuse to see it. You know it's true, but you refuse to see it. Let's talk about how other people did more and do more with your material than you can. I'll wait.
Third out of the third did 100 cheers. Well said, I agree. I have first-hand experience in those channels. A year ago, I tried talking to them. They were talking about how cool it would be for you to do shrooms. And I pointed out, oh shit. The sad part is that people are so dumb, they believe the shit that those negative people say. That's the sad part. Like today, perfect example. Today, you know, Stanley.
Yeah, Phil, it's going to help your cause by calling those people dumb. Please believe me. You guys are fucking morons, though. But please believe me. Yeah, Phil, that's going to work. That's going to bring people to your side when you insult them immediately. Whether they believe it or not. if you really want a chance to plead your case, maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't shit on the very people that you're trying to convince. Oh, but see, you're used to doing that to the brain dead idiots in your fucking comment section all the time that's in your chat, so you have no choice, yeah? I get it, I get it. The thing is, though, okay, let's talk about that for a minute. The people in your fan base, you do realize that they're dwindling, yeah? That they're slowly but surely dying out, and you're only getting to these few cucks that are used to getting beat up all the time and that are okay with it. And that's pretty much it. Because everybody else in there is either too scared to talk or have so much power that they just chill amongst themselves. I'm not talking about the guys who like to go ahead and circle jerk each other. That's a whole different thing, you know. The ones that like sending, you know, putting pineapples up their ass and shit like that. You know about that, Phil, because you've laughed at it a couple times. You know, stuff like that. Not them. We're not talking about them. This is the people that propagate around you. And what do they really provide you with, to be honest with you? Besides money. Money that you essentially sold your soul for. If not your soul, your dignity. Not that it was worth much anyway. Just saying.
Rest in peace again to Stan the Man Lee. You know, really, I was always a huge fan of his, and especially Marvel Comics and the stuff that he did. We had, between my pre-stream earlier today and the first probably 2 hours of gameplay, all people were talking about coming into the stream was Stan Lee. What's your favorite memories of Stan Lee? Like, we had a really fun, interesting conversation regarding Stan Lee and Marvel Comics and everything for about 2 hours straight. Okay, someone takes something out of context during that 2 hour discussion, positive about Stan, and says, "Oh, Phil laughed about Stan Lee's death. Look at this clip." Huh? And you look at it, you're like, huh? That's, if you even look at the clip, that's not even what's in the clip. But these idiots are spreading it that Phil did this toxic thing, he laughed at Stan Lee's death. What? Did you watch the stream? For 2 hours we were talking positively about what a great guy this guy was, and how much he meant to so many different people. And to take something completely out of context to make it negative, that's the shit they do. And then you have people, Phil's a toxic streamer. No, you you tried to make me look like that when that's not the reality of my streams at all, because you want to have a good, jolly laugh on fucking Tevin's stream, right? And you're a fucking loser. It's so ridiculous. And that's absolutely correct, Android. You're right that if someone is illegally restreaming my stream, those are my views. You're right, they are. It's just that they want to stay on that negative stream and do negative toxic shit they know they can't do here. So, but those would be my viewers if that guy wasn't allowed to do it.
Yet again, why would you want negative toxic viewers though? Because let's be honest, Phil, if they're not watching it with Tevin, then they're just not watching. Think about that for a minute. That the very people that are these brain dead idiots or whatever bring in more viewership than you, and you want that viewership, but if that person didn't exist, those views wouldn't exist. But that's funny though, right, Phil? Because didn't you say that if you weren't popular, that they wouldn't be able to get popular off you? So now we got a bit of a conundrum now. You're not popular, you're not really that relevant, but yet other people can take what you do and become, allegedly, popular or relevant. But yet, if some of those people didn't exist, then the people who watched them wouldn't exist. So that still doesn't benefit you. At the end of the day, you're still at square one. You're still a fucking joke of a Let's Player with a dwindling audience. It's actually worse than dying, if you think about it, Phil. It's almost worse than dying. All these people around you that you hate so much breathe life into you. And in turn, that viewership, in some way, shape, or form, keeps you somewhat relevant. People in your own fan base have said that. Oh, you know, you guys are just spreading the word on Phil. Okay, but yet his audience still doesn't grow. Imagine that. It's like taking a bunch of Viagra and nothing happening. That's sad. So sad. But yet again, people, if you didn't have those people, Phil, where would you be? They're not going over there to you. You just said that, oh, they're not going to come over here because they don't get away with that negative shit there. Like throwing around the N-word and shit in 1488 is a problem. Like, that's the real issue. Though that happens on the regular. Somewhat. So you kind of fucked yourself in your own argument. If you weren't popular, these people couldn't get popularity. But you're not popular, and yet the people that you allegedly say that were able to get popular off of you, if their fan bases didn't have them, then they wouldn't go to you. They wouldn't even watch you. You would be just someone slowly but surely dying on YouTube and Twitch. Imagine that, Phil, that your existence depends on somebody else outside of your fan base. That's what hurts you about Tevin. That's what cuts you deep. I mean, that's what cuts him deep about all detractors, but Tevin is his main focus right now. And has been for a number of years, which makes it even more ironic because he's tried to help you over the years. It's amazing how you forgot about that. My first episode of Wine and Doubt actually went over some of that. So it's amazing, Phil, that Tevin essentially was relegated to the same thing with Howard and John. People who tried to help you, at least with whatever avenues that he had to do it, and years later, he's at fault for everything. Just like how John's at fault for everything, right? Because he won't do content with you, so because people honestly want to see him more than you, and you know that. And you're mad that John won't sit there and take the knee and help you with your content so you can get hot and get some money. Just like how he used to drive you around everywhere, right, Phil? Because of that bad back. Same reason why he was going ahead and lugging around all your luggage and all your equipment and shit. Trying to be a good friend that helped you out. After a while, he wasn't a friend of you anymore, was he? He was just a servant. He was someone expected to be there and expected to do these things. So he did it. So where's the friendship at, Phil? Same thing with Howard, right? He was your friend, and then you relegated him to an associate, and then it just came down to, oh, he's someone that we just played Street Fighter with. Oh, okay. Funny, though, because John says that whole community out there was a brotherhood. But in truth, the only person you really mention is just John. Sounds to me that the only person you ever really cared about was John. Until he wasn't useful to you anymore. Imagine that. Dspnews.
The sad fact is that YouTube doesn't give a fuck. He's breaking YouTube's terms of service every single day doing it, but YouTube will not shut him down. People have told me they've tried and they ignore it because they can never catch it live because he doesn't leave the streams public, so there's no evidence of him doing it, and YouTube takes like days to respond to a report, so by the time that they actually look into the report, there's no evidence of any wrongdoing. It's a fucking joke is what it is. So anyway, thank you everyone for the cheers. Quack just said, Pokemon Battlefield 5 Artifact, are you playing any of these? I'm gonna probably end up playing Battlefield 5, I get the feeling. But I'm definitely not playing Pokemon, I'm not. What the hell? You could punch when you're on the plane? I'm punching while on the plane. I didn't even know you could do that. Alright. So I think we've talked long enough about the asshole. Let's not extend this fucking conversation. Let's change the subject. There's many other positive, productive things we could talk about that besides wasting time on a fucking no-life idiot, who, by the way, will not be around forever. He's going to get shut down eventually once YouTube finally starts being lazy as fuck and actually abides by their own terms of service.
Is that when you plan to come back, Phil? When Tevin's gone? When Glow Gang is not a thing anymore? That's when you're gonna shout. That's when you're gonna show back up. That's when you're gonna come back, shorty. That's when it's gonna be safe. You think you can just go ahead and get all your views? You know what I'm saying? Once Tevin's gone, you're gonna start getting 40, 50, 60,000 views per video again, buddy. Is that the plan? Is that it? That's the big payoff. It's just like your house. Just hoping that you could pay enough of pay the mortgage off for another 4 or 5 years until there's enough equity there, and you'll be able to take care of all your bills, not realizing that you're just gonna put yourself in even more debt, and then possibly lose the house. That's what the plan is, buddy. Gonna keep paying the bare minimum with all these crazy interest rates that are gonna end up fucking you in the end, not in the way that you want it. That's the plan, buddy. Once Tevin's gone, huh? Everything's just gonna work out. You're just gonna get hot again, huh? You're gonna start editing videos? You're gonna start multitasking? Is that what we're gonna do? Cat's gonna start jumping back up on the content? You're gonna actually let her do something? Or she's just gonna sit there bored again? Come on, Phil, tell me what the big plan is, man. Let us know. Enlighten us on it. What's the payoff? It's funny how you blame everything on this one individual, yet You can't really tell us what's going to happen when he's gone. It's sad. It's kind of sad, honestly, because it makes one believe that you're just kind of begging and pleading for someone to get rid of him. Almost like you're not man enough to do it yourself. Almost like all those empty threats you made a couple of days previous, someone came around and smacked the shit out of you and it was like, hey, shut that shit down or you're going to get kicked off. And you say, yeah, daddy, no problem. And you stop. I don't know. I like to call you a hoe, but I feel like that'd be insulting the hoes. Just saying. Even a hoe has some pride, I think. I'll look into that. Dspnews.
We'll see how many of his fucking 1,000 followers follow him over to fucking Mixer. Mixer or Hitbox or some other fucking place no one ever watches anybody.
That's funny. That's going to probably be your future one day. You might want to go ahead and start scoping that situation out. Oh, I'm sorry. You already did. Because how'd you know Tevin was over there on Mixer? Oh, because you even tried to flag his stuff before, so you must have saw the advertisement for it. Gotcha. Gotcha. Hitbox? Who's on Hitbox? I thought cam girls were on Hitbox. I don't know. Not only cam girls, obviously, but yeah. So, I mean, at least you're keeping track of Tevin. At least you know what he's doing. You know what he ate last night, Phil? I know what he ate last night. I bet you know what he ate, too, right? Yeah, pizza. I heard it was delicious, too. Do you know what was on it, Phil? You're you know, a quarter Italian, so you should. I'm sure you can guess, right? It's funny, Phil, because it makes me wonder, you know, because we're all supposed to be brain dead stalkers and shit. It seems to me that you probably know more about Tevin than we do. And I know that I watch more of Tevin than you do. Or at least I thought that. I'm starting to think otherwise. I mean, but then again, Phil, you did make a video about Tevin saying about how much he hurt you. It's rather amusing, actually. I should have probably thrown this in here. And we can save it for another time. Like fine wine, you have to let it breathe before you drink it. There's no point in just going ahead and putting it out there.
Oh my god, the Wolverine Toy Story? There is no Wolverine Toy Story. It's something that's completely been over-exaggerated by dumb fucks. It's hilarious because I told the story once ever, years and years and years ago. On Ask the King or whatever. Then the haters turned it into like a meme that they talk about every year. And I actually told my dad about it. I was like, hey dad, do you remember when I was a kid, that Wolverine toy? He was like, yeah, I remember. Why? I was like, because some idiots actually think that that's like some big momentous part of like our relationship, when in reality it's like a little thing that really didn't matter at all. And he had a good laugh about it with me. We're like, wow, people are actually that much losers, right? Yup, they are. They actually think that that fucking Wolverine toy actually mattered. Idiots. Hoofzer says,
think about that for a second, ladies and gentlemen. That's the highlight of his conversation with his dad. Was talking about some shit that people laugh about him on the internet. That's the highlight of their conversation. You had nothing else positive to talk to your father about? Maybe about your soulmate and some of your plans? Maybe some of the stuff that's going on in your house and maybe some advice you could ask? Because obviously your father's up there in age and he can't fly out there anymore. I think the last time he flew out there was 2016, I think. Maybe like 2016. So you had nothing else positive to bring to the table? Nothing else at all to share about your day or about your week at all? Only what the haters do. It's funny, Phil, because it almost makes me believe that you live for us more than we allegedly live for you. I would say I would be honored, but I kind of just feel dirty now. Kinda. Just saying. But that's it? That's what you present to your father at this age? That's what you want your father to hear in his twilight years? How much his son's getting trolled on the internet for being a fucking idiot about a story that he told? Damn, that's kind of depressing too, Phil, because if you think about it, your words, not mine, of course, you're not having any kids, yeah? So that means he's not going to have any grandkids. So essentially, he kind of sees the end of his name go down with you. Unless the rumors are true that, and this is all just speculation and rumor, of course, that him or your mother or both had actual affairs throughout their marriage, and maybe there's another Burnell child out there. That's just all alleged, of course. That might have been just a joke when it was told to me. Still funny nonetheless. But and to be honest with you, that might be the actually last glimmer of hope, because if not, then it all kind of fades with you. Which makes me wonder, in the grand scheme of things, of course, Phil, that the reason why you fight so hard against the detractors, against life in general, is because you don't want to be forgotten. You're scared of it. You're scared that you spent all this time on the internet. You put all this alleged work in. You sat there and trampled on the bones and hopes and dreams of people who believed in you and gave a shit about you. And at the end of the day, not only are you a real failure, which you are, but that you're going to be forgotten. And that's why you stick around. That's why you'll be here tomorrow morning. It's not about the money. It's not about the viewership. You're scared that you're going to be forgotten. Imagine that. Dspnews.
Toy Story's kind of cute. I can't believe that, you know, detractors make it into a big thing. I agree. Like, when I told the story, I wasn't telling it from any kind of a malicious standpoint, like I hold resentment against my parents for it or something. I don't. It was just kind of a silly story. I remember this toy that I really wanted. I saw it leading up to Christmas over and over, and then couldn't get it because my parents hadn't picked it up in time, and it was sold out everywhere. And by the time they had gotten it for me, I didn't really care about it anymore. And the whole point of the story I was trying to tell was, if you have kids and you have the opportunity to get them a Christmas present they want like super early, get it for them super early. Don't wait, because then they'll be super disappointed with you. You know, if you promise them, you can get it, and then you can't. I was trying to help people who were growing up, you know, with some life advice from something that happened to me as a kid. And people think like, feels like an entitled little child. He wanted this toy and blah, 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 blah. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was a kid, and this is the truth. When I was a little kid, my parents would take me to the toy store, okay? And I can't put anything on this gun for some reason. Oh, I know why, because it already has the sight on it.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, he's stalling in the delivery. The reason why for that is because he's been thinking about this story for a while. In turn, he's been thinking about how he's going to shape it when it's time to revise it. So he's stalling, kind of like if who's a good example? Kind of like Sargon in a lot of ways when he's being caught up in a lie, allegedly, where he has to stall for a minute before he can make shit happen. Usually that chuckle he does, or whatever the case may be. Excuse me. So he has to stall to go ahead and get the story right in his head to kind of make it seem right, to make himself look right, I should say, and then move forward. The problem is, Phil, is I would assume you've had quite a bit of time to go over this because you've been thinking about it for a while. That's what that's kind of the whole point when Phil revitalizes his stories. You can tell it's something that's been bothering him and it's something that he's been thinking about. And instead of being a man about it and just accepting it at face value, that's what I said and I stand by it, he has to change it. So not only does it make you look like a liar, but it also proves that whatever the situation was affected you. It hurt you. And you still haven't dealt with it yet. I don't know how that's so hard to figure out, Phil, but apparently it's keeping you up at night. Dspnews.
A little kid, and my parents would take me to the store. Here's what they would do. You know, little kids get bratty and they want a toy, right? They want it so fucking bad. They give me a toy, give me a toy. You know, I want a toy. And parents are like, no, I can't get you that toy right now or whatever. And they'd be like little brats would be all fucking pouty all day. When I was a kid, apparently, this is what my parents tell me, they would go to the store and they would say, they would take me right to the toy store first, or the toy department first of the store. And they would grab a figure that I liked and let me hold it the whole time. And I would look at it and, you know, kind of mess around with it, play with it if I wanted to. You know, don't take it out of the package, but just look at it or whatever. And I would be very pleased as they did all their shopping throughout the store to just look at that figure the whole time. And at the end of the trip, they'd say, okay, Philip, you know, we can't get that today. Okay, I understand. You know, it's a birthday or some special holiday coming up. Maybe I can have it. But I can't just have that just because we're at a store. You know, my parents weren't fucking rich where they could just buy toys every time we went to a store. And I understood that as a kid. So they would actually put it back. And I would be okay. You know, now how many kids, you know, do you know that I guess are like that? You know, a lot of kids, they're bratty. And, you know, they want that fucking toy no matter what. And if you don't buy that toy for them, they're going to fucking have a temper tantrum for the rest of the day. But I was never like that. I was literally the opposite of being like a brat when I was a kid. Because I understood my parents didn't have a ton of money. And they were doing what they could to make a nice life for me. And I didn't want to be an ungrateful little shit, you know? That's how I always was. So for them to spin... Oh, fuck. For them to spin the story, but for them to spin the story that, oh, because I didn't get a toy for Christmas, I'm some kind of like an entitled brat, and then they bring it up like a meme. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like the opposite of how I fucking was as a kid. But that's the thing. They make that shit, they literally make that shit up to spout this toxic narrative about me that has no foothold in fucking reality at all. Like I said, they took a clip out of context about my stream earlier today to say that I was basically laughing at the death of Stan Lee. That never happened at all. Once during that stream. It was 2 hours of us saying nice things about how much we all appreciate Stan Lee as a good person. And they take something out of context to make it seem like the opposite, because that's what they are. They're scumbags. And it's so fucked up. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, so what happened was today we were having really nice, fun conversations about Stan Lee and our experiences with Stan as a creator over the years, all the Marvel stuff that we were fans of. And someone in the stream chat, I forget his name, said, you know, Stan would basically, most people of his age, he was 95 years old when he passed away, if you guys aren't aware. Holy shit, I mean, he lived really long, right? But anyway, 95, most people who are 95 years old would be content just to sit at home and do nothing. Stan was the opposite. He wanted to be in all the Marvel movies. He wanted to be constantly going to conventions, meeting the fans, shaking the hands. He wanted to have a hand in all this stuff. Like, he was the ultimate active guy, even at his age. And the joke that someone actually made in the stream chat, which I laughed at, was, gee, I wonder when people will start arguing about how he died. Maybe, you know, he was skydiving from 5 million feet and his chute didn't deploy. Or he was at a fucking Metallica concert and he got trampled in a random mosh pit stampede or something. You know, that's things typically you hear a 95-year-old guy you'd never hear. But with Stan Lee, maybe that's what happened, because that's the kind of lifestyle he lived. He was always an active guy, right? So that's really what the clip is in context. But if you just watch the clip, it's like, yes, you know, haha, Stan Lee died today. Maybe he died but his ripcord didn't deploy, or he got stampeded at a Metallica concert. If you just hear it out of context, you have no idea what I'm even talking about. But that's the thing, like, these people are...
It doesn't matter, though, because it's distasteful. That's the problem. The problem is that the man died, and you guys decided to make a joke about him, and it was in poor taste. Or, as what most people would tell you, Phil, too fucking soon. But it was certainly in poor fucking taste. Which is another thing that was kind of interesting about Twitter when he died, and even afterwards. It's funny how all these people seem to have a problem with Stanley. And this is actually unrelated to Phil, but it's kind of related to Phil because they're all, you know, you kind of lump them all in there. There's all these people who have all these problems with Stan Lee, right? And they talk about this and that and the third. And you know, all on the day the man died, everybody wants to come out and shit on him and so on and so forth. It reminded me of Total Biscuit in a lot of ways. Here's the problem that I have, I should say. If he was such a horrible person, why weren't you saying that the day before? Or the week before? Or the month before? You go back and look at some of these Twitter timelines and Stan Lee doesn't pop up at all. But the moment he dies, instead of just whatever your beef was with that man is gone because the man's dead. But instead, oh, he's dead now, so it's open season. I'm shitting on Phil right now. But if Phil was to die tomorrow, then it's kind of a wrap. Because the man's dead. And there's no need to disrespect him like that. He's already dead. So whatever issues that you had with him, it died with him, to be honest. And that's starting to become more and more of a trend on Twitter, where being dead doesn't mean shit. It'd be different if it was like, if I don't know, when he died, it'd be like child molestation or something heinous like that that really famous actor in London or England. It was definitely in England or it was in the UK, one of the two, where they end up finding out that, you know, he was doing all kinds of heinous shit. That's one thing. But for someone like Stan Lee, the man's dead. The man's dead. So what problem do you really have with someone who's already gone? And if so, why didn't you say that beforehand? Oh, because it's easier to not have that he can't defend himself at that particular point. He still has fans. He still has loved ones. No one wants to hear that shit the day the man died. It was just like the Jim Sterling thing. Or not Jim Sterling, sorry. Total Biscuit. My bad. It sounds like the Total Biscuit shit. Like, everybody just started to rail off on him because the guy was dead. His body wasn't even cold yet. And that's the thing that Phil doesn't understand. Stan Lee's body isn't even cold yet, and you guys are already making jokes about him dying? The fuck is wrong with you? That's what the problem is. And that shouldn't be hard to figure out. That's human decency. Yes, I make shitty-ass videos about a shitty individual online. I can own that. But the man isn't dead. And that's the problem, Phil. And it shouldn't take a whole lot of human decency to point that out to you. That should be easy. Whatever issues you have with that man or that woman or whoever, that died with them. Dspnews.
Nut jobs. And that's what they want to do. They want to always make things sound like it's something that it's not. Well, thank you, Himanoma, for another 100-bit cheer. He said, no worries, you know, Stan got much respect on my stream. I know he did. I know he did. I would never, especially of all the people, like, I'm a huge fan of Stan Lee. I wouldn't fucking talk shit about him ever, you know? Swaggins, all I needed to do to learn about Fallout 76 was watch E3, which I did. I didn't need to see a single piece of information after E3. I knew exactly what the game was. It's fucking Destiny with Fallout. It's Fallout gameplay. The same graphics and assets of Fallout 4 Destiny gameplay. Only gonna be fun because of co-op. Once the co-op aspect or the multiplayer wears out, there's nothing good about it. It's a throwaway fucking game. Especially this gaming season with all the crazy ass amount of games coming out and that I'm struggling to even cover all of them. Spending time on Fallout 76 would be like the only...
You're not even covering a quarter of them, to be honest. You're covering the games that you want to cover, but there's way more games out there than that. So that kind of makes your argument a bit invalid. You're trying to play all of them. No, you're trying to play all the games that you want to play. And I'd say half of them, out of that quarter, half of that is about to get cut. Because you say you don't have enough time. Which is funny because this is all you do all day. And yet you don't have time to play games. Imagine that, ladies and gentlemen, that an individual who's a Let's Player, who's a full-time streamer, doesn't have time to play games. What did the world come into?
Time. I'm not basing it off of other people's opinions. I'm basing it off of just what I've heard and seen about the game, based off of E3 and stuff like that. I don't like a lot of people complain about the beta. I don't even know what people complain about in the beta. I have no idea.
Net call. Supply drop incoming.
Yeah, I think the Ramper is better than the fucking ICR, which is why I just grabbed it. I think. I could be wrong. Tamanese, I did not say I said I liked it in the E3 video. I said this is interesting because it's Fallout and it could be good, but I don't know.
Actually, on Tevin's stream last night, he actually, Tevin actually brought up his E3 coverage of it, and he was sucking it off. He was saying, you know, even though it's going to be online only, I'm still going to play it. I'm still going to play it. It's going to be great because I'm a fan of Fallout, man. Look at my shirt. I love Fallout, man. It's going to be great. It's still going to be great, man. I don't want to give up on it. You know? Despite the online aspect of it, I'm still going to play it because I'm a fan. Like I said, man, like, there's no way that you're this dumb. Everything you say is online, and you put it there. So when people call you out, like the individual who's doing it now, how do you, with a straight face, lie to them and say that you didn't say that? Amazing. Dspnews.
Gonna work with a co-op formula. And now that I know what we're dealing with the fucking amazing amount of games that I'm juggling right now, and even more that are about to come out, that is not the kind of game I want to play right now. Fallout 76 would have been perfect for like late August, early September, or like January, February. Not for fucking, you know, November, when there's 5 million games out already that everyone's already playing, and then another fucking 5 coming out in the next month. This is how I play the game!
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the last video of the broadcast. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Snort Burnell. Dspgaming. He needs money. He needs money. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry for the first however long it's been. It's taken a bit of a more serious tone. I think some of the stuff might have been way too harsh. Or at least people are going to feel that way anyway. But it needed to be said. It needed to be said. He's getting to the point in his life where he doesn't really have a lot of time left. And I don't mean that he's going to die or anything like that, but I would say that Stan Lee's passing should be eye-opening for him on what the fuck am I really going to do? Because he needs to do something. He can keep failing at this all he wants, and he can have people kicking and screaming to go ahead and try to get him over that hump. But it's not the finish line. He thinks that all these people up here that are giving him all this money are going to keep him they're going to drag him kicking and screaming to that 5-year mark where he can finally start using the equity in his home to pay his shit off. Not realizing that by paying only the bare minimum, he's going to have so much interest that in 5 years, he'll probably owe double what he owes now, if not more. Because he doesn't have a plan. And he doesn't understand what's going on. So, believing that, oh, if I knock Tevin out the way, it's going to help. It's not. Someone else will just stand up and take his place. This is how it works. This is how the machine really works, Phil. But this, ladies and gentlemen, was after Phil decided to rail off and say how successful he was and, you know, how he was making all this money to now he doesn't have any money. So hopefully this should be a little bit more comical. I hope. Let's go.
Oh my god! What the fuck?
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude. And I have to warn everyone. Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. I like how you're laughing too.
Well, it's funny.
I'm probably gonna skip Battlefield. At least that's what I'm leaning towards right now. We'll see what happens over the course of this week, but right now I'm strongly leaning towards skip it and focus on the good stuff. Okay?
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I don't want to do a big plug segment, but I do need to appeal to you very honestly. Right now, financially, things are not going so well, which is why I'm talking about things like, oh, I can't afford certain games and stuff. It's just being honest with you.
I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills. Things are not going so well. And I'm to the point now where I was expecting a Twitch payment to come through. It hasn't come through yet this month. And I have no money. So, give me your money. Let the green roll in. Gimme. Give me money. Oh my God. It's terrible. It's disgusting in my opinion. Like, I'm actually disgusted. Disgusting beggar.
Today, if you're watching the stream...
Now, let's stop for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Let's stop for a minute. This man just came off for the day before. Okay, we're talking about within 24 hours of saying, oh, I'm making more money than Tevin, I'm the man, to being like I'm broke. Even though he's told us when he usually gets paid by Twitch, which is literally the next day, the day after he said this. But he's broke, and he needs you guys to bail him out. He gets paid tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, or the day after. And yet he's broke, and he needs you guys to pull him out of the shitter. What kind of piece of shit individual are you? You're getting paid tomorrow. Tomorrow. And you want their money now. What is this? Is it JG Wentworth? Or whatever? It's your money and you want it now? How is it that someone can be so fucking dishonest? And the thing is, right, it's only like people like myself, for example, are going to actually remember everything that he says. So no one in his fan base is going to get this or going to remember it. So he can keep pulling it over and over again. But the thing is, you're saying that, oh, your check was delayed. By how many days? It's not going to be delayed by a week or two. Unless there's a hold on your money for some reason because they found something fraudulent. So you're really going to be dishonest, dishonest to people who trust you. To literally, oh, the day before I get paid, I need you guys to come through because I'm broke. Which isn't the first time he's done this. It really hasn't. And like I said, this is the hardcore begging season. He does this every year. And they still keep falling for the same shit. Amazing. Just absolutely amazing. Like, just imagine, ladies and gentlemen, that you have between 12 and 15,000 coming to you tomorrow or the day after. And you're so money hungry that you have to get a couple $100s a day just because. Just because. Knowing damn well Phil doesn't pay his bills until he gets paid from Twitch and YouTube. We all know that. But that the hunger for money is so intense that you'll still try to get as much money out of your fan base as possible. And you don't care if you have to lie and steal for it. You gotta have it. Begging is a hell of a drug, ladies and gentlemen. Dspnews.
And you would like to contribute, alright? There are many ways you can contribute. You could subscribe to the channel. You can pledge to my Patreon at patreon.com/DarkSydePhil. You could buy some merch from my Teespring shop. But in reality, guys, today the best way you could contribute would be to tip me. Because I get those funds right away, and I'm in a really bad place right now financially until this Twitch payment comes through. Last month it had already come through by now, and this month it didn't, so I don't know what's going on over at Twitch with their laying in payment or whatever, but it's basically, I'm kind of screwed right now until I get this payment coming through. So if you could, please tip me today.
My God, please, you gotta tip me because I have no money. I prefer tips. Tips, I needed them pretty badly. And help! Save the pig!
But here, let's talk about something else real quick. Now, imagine this, ladies and gentlemen. He just railed off. Not about the whole he makes more money than Tevin, right? But that Tevin would be nothing without him. And yet you're broke. And yet you're broke and you're begging the people who, if without them, you wouldn't exist for money. But it's because it's your fan base, you're okay with it. But yet you're low-key telling Tevin and his fan base, well, you guys should really just come over here. You don't need Tevin. You can just watch me on your own. But you're broke. Tevin ain't up here railing off about his bills. But you are. You broke. You broke. You came off of a super heavy month of getting paid like a month or two ago. And now you broke. And now you broke. You blew allegedly $20,000 already. And people already have all your payments and shit calculated out. So what the fuck are you doing with your money, Phil? To where you are broke. Even if it wasn't, it's obviously close to like 20 grand is what he made off his last Twitch check. And then keep in mind, he still has a YouTube check in there too, and he still has Patreon. But you broke! But you broke! What happened to your Patreon money, Phil? What happened to the money from Teespring? What happened to YouTube money? And you broke. At any given time, he's going to get paid in some way, shape, or form. Twitch, YouTube, Patreon, big three. And he broke. And he gets Patreon every month. But he broke. I don't know if YouTube and Twitch are like off months. So meaning that like YouTube's in January, Twitch is in February, YouTube's in March, you know, and so on and so forth. I don't know if that's how that works. I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you. But let's say it does work that way. He still always has a paycheck coming in each month, no matter what. Or two, sorry. He has 2 paychecks coming in at least every month. But he broke. You should have asked Dad about some money management. That's what you should have did instead of talking about dumbass stories about telling your father a dumbass story about a story that you yourself told on the internet. Get your priorities right, man. At least from a money standpoint, you shouldn't be begging if you're allegedly making all this money. That makes no sense. It makes you look it makes you look like a complete total idiot. Dspnews.
Heck? A pig with a party hat. Hello, Mr. Piggy. Ziggy Piggy. Save the pig, the game. The whole game you're trying to save the pig's life. Help!
And then we had the lollipop, who cheered. He says, did you know that when Ninja was playing Fortnite, a guy destroyed him so hard Ninja demanded the guy to be banned from the game and shit-talked him too when Fortnite makes you angry? Listen, First of all, I have no idea if this is a true story at all. I don't watch Ninja, I don't know anything about it, and I don't follow any drama about people, you know, on the internet. I don't care. But the bottom line is, competitive games can make you rage. I personally can attest to this, because whenever I play Street Fighter, my god, do I usually friggin' rage. Or any competitive fighting game, honestly, online. And, you know...
Sometimes it's legit, sometimes it's acting, I'll be honest. This shocks me.
You know, but a lot of the times it is legit. I get so frustrated when a connection is bad, or someone's just using an abusive pattern because they know the connection is bad. And there have been times when I've called for people to be banned from games and stuff. I've done this myself. So, you know what? If this really did happen, Ninja's a human guy, right? And I think we should all give him a freaking break. Alright? So there. Okay.
This shocks
first things first. You ain't sat there and railed off on Ninja plenty of times. Second, let me tell you guys the actual story. Okay, if we're talking about the same situation, if they're talking about the one that happened recently, I can go ahead and tell you what happened. Basically, Phil, he's always in a live stream failing. Ninja was in a live stream, and he was basically getting his ass handed to him. And he ended up getting killed by this random dude, right? And he immediately was like, oh, he must be stream sniping me. So he filed a report on him in real time on stream. Then, still butthurt about the situation, right? After watching the replay, he's like, I'm going to do whatever I can to get him off this game. So either A, you know, admit that you stream sniped me, or I'm going to make sure that you get banned from this game. Come to find out, the guy who allegedly stream sniped him didn't do it. Didn't actually stream snipe him. What Ninja's evidence is that in the past, this guy has sent out messages saying, hey, I'm stream sniping Ninja right now, which is something that I'm sure a lot of people have done. And Ninja took that and moved with it. After the game publisher itself did its investigation, they were like, hey, he wasn't stream sniping you, and Ninja eventually came out and apologized. But then Ninja, being a butthurt little bitch too, at the end of his apology was like, stop trying to milk this. But you're the one on stream saying that, dude, I'm going to try to get you banned off of this game if you don't admit that you try to stream snipe me. That's how far you were willing to take it, Ninja. You and your $200,000 room. Gaming room. Which is fucking insane. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the fucking room ain't tough. The room is tough as fuck. But goddamn, I'm not spending $200,000 on it. That's a house, Ninja. That's a fucking house. And you spent that on a room. On a room that other streamers, well, not exactly. Don't have all the specifications that he does. But on rooms that are equally as nice, that spent not even a quarter of that. All off a game, Ninja, that you yourself in some way don't like. You've even admitted on stream that you don't like playing that and you want to go ahead and play more Blackout. But you're afraid that your audience isn't going to be strong enough to take it. Hence the reason why Dr. Disrespect is still killing it with Shroud on a daily basis. But in any case, you want to call that a moment of weakness? You want to go ahead and use your Dave memes to protect Ninja? Go ahead. But at the end of the day, it was kind of petty. It was kind of petty that the top gamer in the world, that the top fucking Fortnite player in the world would spaz out over something that small, knowing that, and then getting mad that the guy who killed him did like one of those little meme dances or whatnot, and yet you, Ninja, had a brand new Samsung commercial coming out, which you, guess what, doing your little meme dance after you killed somebody. Yikes. Quite the misstep, huh? So Dave, until you got the facts right, shut the fuck up. Dspnews.
This shocks me.
Then, Lamb Dingo tipped me $2 and said, please play Hitman Blood Money. It's easily the best one. See,
I don't remember back in the day when I was building PCs.
Oh my god, not this story. Not the I used to build PCs. I used to be one of you. Not that silly shit again. Oh, Phil. I thought we gave up on this dumb nonsense. Alright, let's hear him out. That hot new lore. Let's hear it.
What? What? You know, I'm a simple guy. I'm a gamer. I'm not a techie. I'm not a fucking guy that knows all the ins and outs of this shit. You're like talking to a lay person. You're talking to a gamer. You're not talking to an editor. You're not talking to a PC, builder. You're not talking to a techie guy. You're talking to a guy who just wants to sit down, press record, play a game, and have fun. Right?
that was a long time ago. That was around, early to mid 2000s. I had bought some kind, I think it was a graphics card for one of my PCs, and it came with Hitman 2, a Hitman game. I know it wasn't the original Hitman. I think it may have been Hitman 2, but it may have also been Hitman Blood Money. I don't remember, okay? I just don't remember. I never think I ever played Blood Money. Crazy Dream, I have absolutely no idea why you were timed out. Sadly, as much as I would love to be omnipotent and be able to see everything and keep a monitor on everything that happens in the stream chat at all times, as you know, when I'm doing a pre-stream, I'm focusing in on what I'm talking about. Therefore, I have absolutely no idea what happened or why you were timed out in the stream chat. So, you know, if you're here now and you're able to chat, I don't see the big deal. All right. You know, after the fact, I can always check chat logs and the like and see what's going on. Crazy Dream Charity says, oh, I was timed out because I did a symbol and Swaggins deemed that it was ban-worthy, but he should have spoken to me directly rather than treat me like in a chat. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, spamming the stream chat with symbols is not a good idea. Especially if you're following a meme that's a negative meme or could be deemed insulting to someone. Spamming handicapped symbols in a stream chat is not a great idea.
It's Tevin's fault.
And you should probably use your brain before you do so and jump on the sheepish bandwagon of people who think it's funny, because it's not. So, you know, sometimes you gotta use your noggin a little bit before you take actions, and sometimes when you take actions, and then there's repercussions for said actions, you have to live with the repercussions of said actions and take some responsibility for those actions. Okay? So how about, instead of spamming...
How are you gonna take any of that seriously from someone who allegedly does nothing wrong, and everything that does happen to him, he just deals with it, even though he's not worthy of the repercussions of the very action that he said he had nothing to do with? How do we do that? How does that work? I'm just asking. I just like some clarification for the audience. No? Nothing? Okay. Let's stop spouting off bullshit then if we don't even... If you don't have a rebuttal for it. And not that he needs to have a rebuttal, it's just, it sounds like obvious bullshit. Like, let's be honest. Phil runs his chat like Nazi fucking Germany and shit. Not even that. I mean, I would say more like Stalin, but Stalin was somewhat competent, so I guess we can't even say that shit. So, I mean, maybe Mussolini, since he wants to be Italian and shit. You know what I'm saying? I guess. I mean, he's starting to go bald anyway, so might as well call him Mussolini. But in any case, like, let's be honest. Like, and the thing is, too, right, is people over there get banned for some of the dumbest shit. No one ever gets banned for the real racism like they should. They get banned for dumb crap. Really, you get banned for putting a wheelchair symbol in the fucking chat? Seriously? That's what we're doing? Because it's offensive to Alex Idella, who's been banned off Twitch anyway, who is still doing engaging in ban invasion. But we're protecting someone who's allegedly not even there. Gotcha. Because you don't want to be offensive. Gotcha. That makes a whole lot of sense. It makes a whole lot of sense. But yet we can go on rants about Tevin for the last, 3 days. Who's not even on the platform anymore. We can thank you for that, Phil. And now you're trying to deplatform him on another site. But that's okay. But putting a wheelchair symbol in the chat is a problem. Okay, I see. That's how the world works. Makes sense. Oh shit! I should become a skeptic.
Chat with stupid shit. Instead, we all just relax. Okay? We all just relax. We sit back. We say, "This is a fun gameplay."
Actually, wouldn't that be really more of an SJW? It doesn't matter. Whatever.
We're all meant to just watch me play games.
Hello, my children.
And be happy and relax and be separated from the drama and the crap of everything. And we all just get along, alright? And we all just, sit back and have a nice, calm stream instead of everyone getting angry with each other because they're posting symbols and getting banned out. Okay? Relax. Holy chamole. Holy splamoli chamoles. What is going on? Why can't people just relax? Okay? Why can't people just relax?
And if I look down at the stream chat and everything is tut, it's going to be ban, and then we're going to continue on like normal fucking humans and not idiots.
I just don't understand it. Crazy Dream, no, I cannot drop the whole stream right now to go check chat logs and see what you said. I was doing pre-stream. Relax! You're here now,
fuck this whole relax dumb shit. Like, you can't sit there and play as hard as you play, no pun intended, and not expect some blowback. So what the fuck is this whole relax fucking meme going around? Stop that dumb shit right now. Either tell him, hey, chill for a minute, and we'll get this worked out. Or tell them to fuck off, Phil. You're good at doing both. You've done both of them before. This whole relaxed nonsense is stupid. It's really, really, really dumb. Because it doesn't really get the point across. It's like you're talking to children. And you need to have an epiphany to go ahead and come out with that. But that whole relaxed meme needs to chill. And not just Phil. Other people say that shit too. It's just stupid. I think it's dumb. Using the word relaxed on the internet, it doesn't work that way. If you're saying that in a particular situation, which is usually an argument or a debate, then obviously you're on the wrong playground, buddy. You might need to go ahead and step off. Seriously. When you play this hard, telling someone to relax is not going to be the way to go about it. It's just not. It's not feasible. And Phil should know that. You're in a fucking toxic ass fucking environment, which is you created, and you got a bunch of people who are butthurt trying to hold on to what little bit of an opinion that they have before they lose it, or before they end up leaving. Like, failure's all around him, and he refuses to see it. Like, you can almost, actually, to be honest, you can actually tell the desperation he has when he was saying that. He tried to be funny about it, but at the end, it was he was really desperate to get this dude to chill. The fuck do you care, Phil? Just ban him and keep it moving. Seriously. Dspnews.
Relax. Everyone relax. Right now. Here's what we're going to do. We're all just going to take a relaxation moment. Alright? We're all just going to lean back. We're going to paint some happy little trees. We're going to, have some happy little accidents. And we're not going to stress everyone. We're going to relax. We're going to sit back. We're going to have a nice day. We're going to listen to some music. What's this here? Let's see.
Actually, fun fact, if you guys don't know, when Charles Manson used to put people in the family, when they used to have these sessions, right, where basically they pass around like LSD and shit, he used to say something similar to that. He wouldn't say relax because that's just stupid, but he would tell them, he would basically have them sit down in a circle or whatnot, and have them think about a happy place, usually something that he orchestrated himself and whatnot, and he would let the drug kind of set in, and it made them more, susceptible to what he was saying. Phil's trying to do the same thing, except for he's too cheap to buy the drugs. Imagine that. And more importantly than that, like, Phil, you yourself don't know how to relax. You're broke. Like you said, you of all people shouldn't be relaxing. You should be figuring out how you're going to get this money to pay these bills. So it's kind of funny, you have someone who's desperate trying to tell other people who are desperate to relax. Seems counterintuitive to me. Dspnews.
That was incredibly annoying. That was not exactly what I had intended to put. What is this one here? Alright, there, you see? That's what I don't want on the stream. I don't want people running around like Benny Hill, going willy-nilly, acting chaotic, being all dramatic, being all crazy and all wound up. Instead, we're going to be relaxed. We're all just going to be here. We're going to enjoy.
Ladies, and I say this specifically for the ladies. Sorry, I missed the clip of his face, but then again, I might be doing you a favor. Could you imagine having that on top of you at night? Just for the ladies. Jesus Christ. Oh, God, that must be frightening. That must be frightening. Poor Panda. Oh, my gosh. Actually, it's probably a good thing that Cat sleeps in the guest bedroom, or her office, if you will. She's probably doing herself a solid on that one. God damn.
The stream. We're going to sit back and watch some fun assassination gameplay and laugh at the foibles and the errors that I make. And we're all going to have a good time. We are. We're all going to have a good time. We're not going to be all pent up like Benny Hill. We're not going to be bouncing off walls. No. Okay. I don't know what's going on with some people today. I just have no idea. It's this simple, guys. You shouldn't be spamming symbols in the stream chat. Just because everyone else does something doesn't mean that you should too, I hate to say it because my parents used to say this to me too and it pissed me off, but if everyone jumped off a bridge, would you too? If something stupid is going on, maybe don't participate in the stupid thing that's going on, and then you also won't have a negative consequence for participating in the stupid thing that's going on. Okay? Fair enough? Alright. Alrighty then. Alright, everyone. See, now this is good. Everyone's kind of relaxed. I see the stream chat has relaxed. Everyone's nice and calm. And now we can continue on. There you go. It's that simple. Okay. Swaggins wants me to do this Bob Ross impersonation the entire stream. This is what I'm going to do. From now on, when I see people freaking out in the stream chat, I'm going to go Bob Ross mode. And then we're just going to relax. That's what it's going to be, because that's what it needs. People just need to chill. They need to stop going nuts and losing their minds and bouncing off the walls and headbutting each other. And sometimes you just need to sit back and have a nice chill moment on the stream. Right?
Smoke weed every day. Moment of zen. Namaste. Okay. And I'm not a children's entertainer. I'm a mature adult. What pasta do you prefer? I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a beggar. Phil's a racist. Phil's a scammer. DSP's a pedophile. DSP is a thief. DSP is a greedy fuck.
This guy's a bitch.
I have a micro penis.
Alright, I think that's a fair place to stop it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this was a long one. That's a pretty long one. Wasn't expecting it to be this long, but I suppose I had more to say than usual. Or I decided to go off the rails a little more than usual, I should say. In any case, I think there's some valid points to be made. I think this whole situation going at Tevin for round 4 is frivolous and doesn't get anybody anywhere except for it makes Tevin look greater and it makes Phil look desperate. The whole Bob Ross thing is just dumb. He's let that go. Same thing with that whole relaxed nonsense. And he broke. He's the man. He was the man the night before. You know what I'm saying? He was the shit. You know? All of Tevin's viewership and fans should be his fans. But certainly his viewership anyway. But he broke the next day. Apparently he ain't looked at the bank account. And Cat was like, hey, I need that monthly payment or that weekly payment. And he didn't. He came up kind of short. So, whatever the situation is with that. Very interesting situation to definitely be said. Ladies and gentlemen, Thanksgiving's right around the corner, so we'll see how the situation is with that. Christmas, or in December, I should say, next month will be, Desperation is going to be at its all-time high, and he's going to need another angle, a better angle, than Tevin. I'm sorry, it's just, praise be. But he's going to need something better than that. That's not what's going to drum the money in. And he really can't afford to have another troll come in and throw big money around and then get all of it back, which is allegedly what the situation is with King Tut. But we will cross that bridge when we get there, and we will certainly report on it because that's what we do. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh, yes. A GTG Networking Productions. I am your host, /anchor GTG, and I am signing off. Have a good day. End the broadcast.